For the New Year's, Mr. DNA,
What's that, sir?
you're gonna store no more stuff on paper. People do digital.
All right.
So the way it works is, 1 second, please, and show me this for a second. I buy these right here from Costco, my little bottles. I buy stuff like this at Costco. Wait a minute. When I get great ideas, God give me inspiration ideas, I just write them down.
Yeah.
And then wait, I got a procedure. And when I write them down, I put every idea in a separate thing like that.
You immortalize it, yeah.
You can't though, no more, because it's to the point where
What's going on, Tamika?
you can't live. You turn yourself into like, yeah, you can't.
I hear you, and I appreciate that.
My uncle agreed to us. You should see the house in Queens. Agreed.
What's going on,
To the
Bernice?
storage.
I'm trying to find a good record to start off with.
What up, still?
Put a good record, put
We
on.
played these.
I'm gonna in about 2 minutes. I'm gonna start
Taylor,
the topic. So
yeah, search
just
it.
bear with me. What's going on, Daryl?
T-E-Y-A-N. Tiana.
There's like so many different ways to spell Tiana.
Right there.
See it? Right there.
She's there on top.
So why was I know how to spell her name? I don't use that name in my life before Tiana.
What up, the ring? Mr. Brooks, what's going on?
Right there. Oh, right here. Ghosts.
I try my best, man. What up, Maurice?
It's there, but it's not there. I don't know why it's not.
Yeah, I got a pretty fun, interesting topic to talk about today. A few of them, actually. So,
Any other name real quick? I can search?
Put on.
yeah, we're just getting things started. So, I'll be with you guys momentarily. Hey, what's going on, Bernie Johnson
Chris
from the
Brown?
UK? Okay,
Yeah.
glad to have you aboard. Thank you for
Oh,
watching.
Christ. Chris Brown.
I'm just gonna give you guys a synopsis before we get started. Today I'm gonna be talking about the different sexualities that you would find in the acronym LGBTQ and all the other letters and stuff. So I did I want to say extensive research. I just broke it down about the different types of sexualities that you would encounter within our lifestyle. What up, Michael? Definitely good evening to you, Mr. Maurice.
How long is this show?
Business Mars not here. They understand.
So probably it's like 9:30. Or yeah, or whenever Nate Ski decides to want to take the show, the spotlight.
Casey's on vacation. So.
Okay. What up, Anthony? What up? Well, both Anthony Hill and Anthony Curse. Okay, what's going on? Yeah, I got something good for the lineup tonight. I can't complain, Anthony. Well, I had a rough week, but I'm not gonna get started because right now I'm having a good moment, and this is the best moment I had. This is the highlight of my week so far. So, yeah, tell me later on. I want you to tell me about your little pool party over there.
You see pictures?
Yeah, I want to see the gorgeous cuties. The hot boys. Hey, what up, Wiz? What up, Charmaine? What's Gucci?
Charmaine too. It's Charm. Oh, you always tell me Charm.
That's what she calls her.
Yeah, well, she heard me say Charm. He rocked it to say Charm.
That's her real name. That's pronounce the government name.
Antoine, what up, Antoine? Let me know what's going on. Am I going to get some kind of feedback or interactions? Because like I said, I'm talking about the different types of sexualities that you would encounter in our LGBT.
Are you going to put him up live over here where we can see the people? You were doing that for us? Yeah.
Some music.
So how's everybody weekend so far? How's everybody Saturday evening? What up, Antonio? Yeah, for those who's just tuning in, like I said, we're just getting some of our equipment ready. Like I said again, I'm gonna be talking about the different sexualities within, same-gender loving community. I'm breaking down and even give some of my insight about what I think about what each and every one of them mean. What up, Sean Glasgow?
You used to have curtains up there?
No.
I got a trap up there.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, really? Some people don't like curtains.
I think that's fine.
I don't like lots of this get dusty.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what I like to hear.
Okay, there we go. Okay. Now I have a system and it's not working like supposed to, confusing. There we go.
Well, Olakunle, I hope I said your name right. What's going on, my man?
Yeah. Let's go with who's Cardi B?
Relax, just do it. Make it happen.
Chris Brown and Drake. Oh, there it is. Cool. Chris Brown and Drake. I like this song. There we go. Let's go with who else is worthy. You like David Eastman? Oh, here it is. Okay. I got him on it.
Also, I might need you guys to, if you're listening, I might need you to give me a hand about the different sexualities in case I missed some, because I'm sure that, others in the community are well informed or well abreast about, the different types of sexualities that exist within our genre. You know,
Juvenile. Okay, Rob, give me about 30 seconds. We're online, okay?
all right.
Yo, what's up? It's your boy, Because He Feels, all the way from East Atlanta, and I'm hanging out with the DNA show live on DNAradio.net. Be sure to check out my single, Curtain, featuring my boy, Brian Waves. It's the second single off my album. I Know What I'm Doing to Tape. It's on every streaming media platform, so y'all make sure y'all add it to your playlist now. Follow me at Because He Feels, and follow the gang at Ryan FMG. Yeah. Ooh, DNA. Ooh, DNA, you sound so sexy. I used to be on puppy.
DNA, he sounds so crazy or puppy.
What up, Jay?
DNAradio.net presents The BU Show with your host, Rockman, for the millions and millions of Rockman's fans
Ready?
out there.
Yes, sir.
Hey, yo.
What's going on? DNAradio.net presents BU and BU Nation with your boy, Rockman. What's going on? Still want to say, happy Leo season. BU is a live interactive radio program for our brothers and sisters within the same gender-loving community and the gay LGBTQ community. Be you and always be true to thyself. To be true to yourself takes courage. It requires you to be introspective, sincere, open-minded, and fair. It doesn't mean that you are inconsiderate or disrespectful of others. It means that you will not let others define you or make decisions for you that you should be making yourself. BU on DNAradio.net is a radio program to help support and uplift our brothers and sisters within our same gender-loving community and within our down low communities as well. We are human beings who have a life, not a so-called lifestyle. BU is not a radio program that gives away any of our same gender-loving or down low intimate secrets within our community or anything of that nature. So please understand that we at BU are not trying to be a so-called superhead or tell-all program. Furthermore, BU is not a gossip type of program such as TMG, PageSix, or Wendy Williams, etc. We, the BU Nation, family, staff, and team come with love, peace, and support. Again, I'm your host, Rockman. Enjoy the show. Alrighty. Last week I was supposed to have a show for you guys, for an interesting topic, but this week, it's going to be that show. So I'm going to talk about the different types of sexuality that you would expect that comes within the LGBTQ or the same gender loving community. All right, I'm going to start off by reading the acronyms of what LGBTQ stands for. What up, Remus? Remus Madison. All right. Basically, we all fall under a category or a title or umbrella called homosexuality, basically. So within it, we got lesbians, we got gay, transgender, bisexual, queer, asexual, pansexual, demisexual, semisexual, sapiosexual. I'm sure I missed a whole other ones, because I've heard of other ones, but I didn't really get time, and I was basically just trying to focus on the mainstream ones, the one that's pretty much known by, But anyway, we all know what lesbians is. Lesbians is basically the terminology to describe gay women or women that like to deal with women. Then we got gay. Obviously, that means it's for the males, males who deal with males. What up, royalty? Then we got the transgenders. Transgenders, like I said, I got actual, words from the dictionary of what it is. But then, like I said, I'm going to give you an insight about what's going on, royalty. I'm going to give you my words of what I believe and what I, think about it. So I don't have them in any particular order, so just bear with me. First, we got demisexual. A demisexual is a person who does not experience sexual attraction unless they form a strong emotional connection with someone. It's more commonly seen in, but by no means confined to, romantic relationships. So again, that's what demisexual is. Then we got sapiosexual. A sapiosexual is a person who finds intelligence to be a sexually attractive quality in others or turned on by intelligence via mental stimulation. That's what it is to be a sapiosexual. Then we got pansexual, or also known as omnisexuality. It is the sexual, romantic, or emotional attraction towards people, regardless of their sex or gender identity. Pansexual people may refer to themselves as gender blind, asserting that gender and sex are not determining factors in their romantic or sexual attraction to others. What up, bro? So that's what pansexual or omnisexuality means. Then we got queer. Queer means strange or odd, into bizarre and or not practiced in the mainstream and sometimes considered taboo by societal norms. That's what queer is. Then we got transgender, which is an adjective. And again, this came straight from a dictionary. as denoting or relating to a person whose sense of personal identity and gender does not correspond with their birth sex. What up, Clinton? That's what it is for transgender, and that could be basically male wanting to be a female or female wanting to transition into their life as a male. What up, Fox? I didn't even know what to call you because you got all these crazy names and stuff, so I'm just going to call you, yeah, nephew. That's what you is. Yeah, what up, nephew? Yeah, thank you for tuning in, my man. Then we got asexual. Asexual people, now, this is going to be a hoot for most of you people. Basically, put in words, asexual individuals may still experience sexual attraction, but this attraction does not need to be realized in any sexual manner, meaning that they don't have sex physically, at least. Basically, they have the same romantic drive and, you know, demeanor to want to pursue a romantic or intimate setting, but they don't need the physical contact or the touch, or basically no clothes are coming off, or no, you know. And the thing I want to say with those, that I don't want to come at those type of people, but for the most part, from what I've been told, I was told that yeah, you gotta keep your eyes open for them, because some individuals could be those particular people that they still desire to be close to somebody, but yet they lack the passion to want to actually, you know, engage in the actual physical contact of the sexual type. Basically, some of my other bonus topics I would talk about is basically dominant and submissive versus aggressive and passive people. Then we're gonna get into the gender role specifics, heteronormative and homonormative. Then, of course, the titles, you know, pertaining to males. We got tops, bottoms, and versatile. Again, like I said, I'm just gonna kind of critique it about what I feel that we all fall on the spectrum somehow, and within that, let me know some of your input. Did I miss out on anything? Did I miss a certain demographic of people who, you know, their sexuality wasn't on the list that I, you know, stated so far? Let's hear what you got to think. We're here live. You can hit us up, 917-727 8020. Again, that number is 917-727-8020. Really, nephew, you want to talk about hot girl summer? Hot girl summer. I'm gonna save that for another topic when I talk about, you know, women, predominantly heterosexual women. I mean, I don't want to kind of go over the place. I want to be able to, you know, stay focused on, you know, our particular agenda, and, you know, try to help, you know, shed the light and, you know, the experience of what it's like to fall underneath, you know, our walk of life, basically. What up, Stephen? Stephen Anthony. Let's go. I'm going to start off with the heteronormatives. All right. Basically, when you think about relationships, people tend to follow the guidelines, which you would find in a heterosexual setting. That's why we call it heteronormative. What up, Kev? Big Kev star. But basically, if you think about it, any child, basically, a little boy or little girl, they more likely would see any kind of relationship or adult situations or settings from the parents. You know, that's one of the first guidelines that we have to look forward to see how do we, you know, if we're thinking in a heterosexual sense, how do we treat that girl we want to get with, or how we treat that guy we might, you know, find attractive if we're a girl looking for a guy. And basically, you got the narrative that I don't like to say it like this because I know there's gonna be a lot of controversy, but again, I'm just kind of just, you know, I hear you, nephew. We can talk about that a little bit later, because this is I'm on the show right now. I'm live and I'm broadcasting, not just on my page, but I'm on YouTube and Instagram and all that. But it's a topic right now. Like I said, I'm in a radio studio. Damn, I lost my train of thought. But what do you think, D? You sleeping over there? Okay, I see you. Yeah, it's probably loud as hell over there, Kevin, but thank you for tuning in. What up, Jamel? Jamel D. White. Again, for those who just tuned in, I'm talking about the different types of sexualities you know, within our community, our download, our LGBTQ or same gender loving community. I'm talking about the different types of sexualities you could come across and what some of the acronyms of LGBTQ, what does that mean? But as far as like I said about the heteronormative, we basically model as far as being bisexual, down low, gay, but lesbians and whatnot. We tend to draw our conclusion of what a relationship is based on the heteronormative statistics that exist. How do we have it? Like obviously, since we have genders in our, you know, as far as being human beings, we have a male and female. And then of course, when we translate it in the homosexual sense, you got certain individuals that believe that a male and a female has to be present. And I don't mean an actual female, but what I'm saying, like somebody would have to play the role of the female while one is playing the male. Well, basically, I understand that it's um, I think that there's a certain hierarchy that exists that is applicable for certain individuals. I have to admit that. But what do you do when the person you're attracted to doesn't fall on that spectrum of thinking that, oh, if, you know, there has to be a guy and there has to be a girl. There has to be a top, there has to be a bottom, there has to be someone dominant, there has to be somebody submissive, there got to be somebody aggressive, and there got to be somebody passive. I just want to know your feedback and your thoughts of what do you guys think? Like, is it mandatory? Does it have to be? I believe that a relationship is an agreement between two individuals, two adults, two consenting adults that decide to say, hey, look, these are the guidelines, and I think these are what the things that would make it work for us. Meaning that whatever me and this individual come up with may not be the same for two other individuals who may be looking for the same thing, but they're looking for it to get different ways. We all have different paths and roads that we can traverse down as to where do we see us going, and where do we what do we want from it. How do we establish our hierarchy and our foundation as to where we want to build. And basically, like I said, everybody has different protocols, different guidelines of what guides them to that their ultimate goal of what they feel like they want to achieve. Now, I believe there's a thing called homonormative. I don't know if that's the actual word, but I've learned from the 19 years I've been dealing with this walk of life, that there are some norms I think that most homosexual, gay, bisexual, or even lesbians. I don't know too much about the lesbian, culture or they walk of life. I don't know if it's the same as, bisexual men or, down low men or gay men. I don't know if they have the same established hierarchy as far as the rules that govern, their sexuality. But again, I'm not going to speak from the male perspective since I'm a male. But again, I've learned from my walk and my experience that there are homonormative things that within the culture and the society that they believe this is what it's to be. And again, I think I said this in one of my previous shows before. To me, there's a difference between a gay man, a bisexual man, and a down low man. And to me, the difference is their mentality, their mental, their minds, their mindset of how they think about what kind of man they want to be, what kind of man they want for them, how they see themselves with men, and how they see other men with them. And I think that's what separates us. Even when it comes to dating and relationship, we all don't want the same thing. And I also said that to say this. I'm gonna touch on heterosexual men for a moment, and not that I'm comparing them with the actual what they're interested in sexually, but I'm only talking about just the mindset. Um, and women are notorious for thinking this about us. They all think that all men are the same and we all want the same, but we don't all want the same. Again, even bisexual men think a lot differently than what gay men want. We don't have the same agenda. That's not to say that anyone's better or worse. All it says is that they're different. They're driven by something different that may not be practiced by many or not as understood by many. But hey, at the end of the day, it's up to that individual and what other individuals decide to want to deal with, um, for whatever reason in their lives and what they're open for. And I try to say that you know don't try to corner or box me in to basically be what you feel is normal and what you practice so that you can feel, I guess, validated or assertive or feel like, what I'm saying, like you're getting somewhere. Again, please call us live right now, 917-727-8020. Again, that number is 917-727-8020. Remember, BU is a dialogue, not a monologue. Let us hear your live input and comments. What's going on, Carol? Yeah, hope that party isn't too loud over there, Kevin. But again, for those who just tuned in, again, I'm talking about the different types of sexualities within our same gender loving or our LGBTQ community. So far, I brushed up against demisexual, sapiosexual, pansexual or omnisexuality, transgender, asexual. Of course, I said lesbians, gay, bisexual, queer. Wait, did I say queer? Yeah, I did. And there's definitions behind those different things. What's going on, Mike? Mike Parks. And also, my other agenda was about gender role specifics. I'm going to talk a little bit about bottoms, tops, versatile, homonormative, heteronormative, and homosexual and heterosexual. And of course, dominant and submissive versus aggressive and passive people. So I definitely want to hear some of your, comments and feedback on, dominant and submissive, aggressive and passive people. Do you think it's necessary or it should be established within our culture, to deal with that? Now, it is human nature because even women like somewhat of a aggressive, hard, rugged kind of guy. And I don't mean rugged as far as like, beard wise. I'm talking about with their attitude, their personality, their swagger, some of their charisma, the characteristics,
Could you repeat that? Is it passive and what else?
Aggressive and passive versus dominant and submissive.
Passive, aggressive, dominant, and submissive.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't passive and submissive be the same sort of?
No, not really. Passive would be the opposite of aggressive.
Passive and submissive.
No, dominant and submissive. Submissive is the contrast to being dominant.
But they're the same. A person could be passive and submissive. Yes. No?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Okay.
Yeah, but then you thought that both of the words actually meant the same thing.
No. Well, not meaning the same thing. It's just that a passive person is usually a submissive person for the most part.
Yeah.
And an aggressive person is usually a dominant person.
They can be, but you could.
Have you ever met a passive dog?
No, never that.
Why you say it like that?
Because it seemed like those two words wouldn't kind of go together.
And if there was those types, would that appeal to you, or that's like a total turn off?
To me, it would be a turn off because it sounds confusing. It's like you don't know what you want, or and it's not saying that like you have to have an ultimate goal, but it's like what's the word? I want to say contradictory, but it's more so. It's almost like on the line of being an oxymoron. Like you could be the extreme, and you could be the least at the same exact time. You know what I'm saying? Like again, we all fall on the spectrum, but it's not humanly possible to be both at the same time. I mean, it isn't sound logical to me. That's all.
I thought I saw on your Facebook you were talking about role playing, right?
Gender and role specifics. Not role play. There's role specifics. Like you think that if two people get together, somebody would have to play this role.
Clean the house.
Yes.
So okay, explain that. I want to comment on that.
the outtake that I was thinking about as far as gender role specific is basically I was really linking it towards sexuality, basically, like about somebody's got to be the giver, somebody's got to be the receiver. And I was just going to elaborate and give my opinion and my feedback about what I think about that type of established hierarchy.
Okay, so the person who's into this role playing, they're the one that stays at home, they clean the house, they cook the food, whatever, right?
Some people want a partner like that, yeah.
So with that partner who is I don't want to say acting like that, but that partner who plays that role, I don't like that term either, but I'm using it now. But that partner who plays that role, would that partner also be a passive person and a submissive person?
More than likely, I could see it being going that way.
That's how society would see it.
That way, but also I think that would be the dynamics of what those two individuals would have come across in their assessment as well. They would, I think,
they want it that way.
Yeah.
I'll go out and make the money, and you stay home and keep the place nice and clean, and cook the food. Okay, so now going back to this, because
Rel said something. He says, "So, what's your performance, your preference, and why?" Let's start with your point of view for yourself when you date. What works for Leon? Oh, interesting. Okay, Rel, you want to know what works for me?
Say about that.
Well, if I had to consider myself based on how I say my style is, yeah, I'm bisexual because I like men and women. But and it's the same thing for men and women too. I'm more. I can't say what I'm more of, but I know that I'm a demisexual and a sapiosexual at the same time. And only certain individuals, and I'm going to read you what the definition is, and it definitely does describe me. A demisexual is a person who does not experience sexual attraction unless they form a strong emotional connection with someone. It's more commonly seen in, but by no means confined to, romantic relationships. Sapiosexual is a person who finds intelligence to be a sexually attractive quality in others, or they're turned on by intelligence via mental stimulation. So certain individuals don't possess that type of quality if they're hoping to get the total package. Now, mind you, I'm open to many options. Just because I'm open to options doesn't necessarily mean that's on the top of my list. My ultimate goal is to find one person I could really truly be connected with, male or female, that I believe have the qualifications of being my equal, that I don't have to try that hard, or I don't have to, how would I say, I don't want to have to go through the unnecessary realm to get to something I want. Because if it is, to me, it's an obstacle, and I don't jump over hurdles or flaming hoops for nobody. So depending on who you are and depending on what you give out is going to determine, I guess, how hard to go for you, and vice versa, or if I'm going to be open to, your pursuit. For the most part, other people, I believe what separates me from dealing with certain things or being open to certain options that other people would like me to be open to is basically certain choices. Like, you can't help who you're attracted to, but if you move and do certain things a certain way, I'm sure that there's certain people that wouldn't get the time of day from anybody, individuals. And I guess you could say I myself was included in that realm. I try not to go for something that's outside of the effort I would actually like to put in to invest it, show that I'm interested in somebody. I don't mind showing the interest and pursuing, but if pursuit turns to I'm chasing and sweating after you, trust me, I lost interest really quick. DNA, you had a question?
I'm still smacking over these nuts. I'm not looking at nuts, I'm smacking the nuts.
You're smacking the nuts. Ooh.
This is your nutritional nuts. Thank you today.
All right. Well, Rel, I hope I answered your question. I hope it was pretty loud. But
the thing is, I don't want to turn into a personal thing, asking too many personal questions. So let me know what you say. TMI if you want to talk. Okay.
Got you.
I'm over there sipping on some spring water. Sorry about that. Live on the radio.
That's crystal clear. I love that. I love it.
We're live on DNAradio.net. This is BU and BUNation.net with your host, Rock. I'm saying, 1 second, please.
Clear that throat. But again, for those who just tuned in, I'm going to read the other definitions of the other sexualities. We got pansexuality or omnisexuality, which is pansexuals are people who can be emotionally attracted towards people regardless of their sex or gender identity. Pansexual people may refer to themselves as gender blind, asserting that gender and sex are not determining factors in their romantic or sexual attraction towards others. Queer, which translates to strange or odd, into the bizarre, and not practiced in the mainstream, and sometimes considered taboo by societal norms.
Right there, 1 second. Would that be the gay pride parade when these individuals all dressed up in costumes? It's no disrespect to them,
I guess more or less, and then sometimes you could say even more like the people who's into like the leathers, the slings, and all the other stuff. Even S&M. I mean that's what when I hear queer.
I don't think it's queer.
I mean it may not be, but that's when I hear that word. That's what that's the picture that comes in my mind. They're into those types of things that's not practiced in normal sexual settings.
Well, help us out there in the radio land and also in social media land. Help us out, because when you say queer, I visualize people near the transgender.
I think that could kind of be that's part of it. I think it all falls on the spectrum, and that would be a more extreme version of what you just said. Yeah.
Because I think the individuals you mentioned, those who are into S&M, sadomasochism, that's a whole category in its own.
Is that what it meant? I just
something like that. Somebody correct us out here. We're just yapping away over here. I think it's sadomasochist, right? It's like all that, not Satan.
Wait, does anybody know what S&M means? If you do, please type it in just so I can read.
Well, no, it's not Satan. It's sadomasochism. It's role playing. It's basically role playing, I believe. Well, we saw the movie, right? Wasn't a white dude into sadomasochism?
Something like that, yeah.
He
was. No, he had the buzzer, the electric shock, the collar, all that.
The whole train, all that crazy, right?
Okay, well, you said. All right, you said thank you. Do you prefer feminine or masculine guys? Explain why you prefer a particular type.
Well, that's a question for who you or us.
Yeah, it's for me. I prefer masculine guys, only for the simple fact that because I still like women, I prefer my femininity to come from women. And that's not saying that I have anything against feminine guys. I have a lot of feminine friends or flamboyant friends, I guess you could say, but romantically, sexually, physically, I don't really find those particular guys attractive because it takes away from the realm of what I consider to be a guy. I like a traditional guy who's like a regular guy. That doesn't mean you gotta be a thug or a gangster, because I'm not a thug or a gangster. I'm just a regular guy. Nah.
The world famous Andy Lee once told me, a man wants a man.
Yeah, but then you got these masculine hood thug gangster niggas. I'm talking about niggas who's 20 times harder than me, and they want a fem guy. They want a feminine guy. They want a submissive, soft, float like a butterfly kind of guy. And they would ignore a guy like me. A guy like me would totally be off their radar.
Okay, on that point, and like I said, it's TMI. Let me know it's TMI. I'll let you know it's TMI.
Mm-hmm.
So if excuse me, sorry, I was eating some nuts. And last night's coming. Just joking.
Yes, clear that throat. Clear that throat.
Let me clear my throat. I'm joking. Sorry about that. Okay, describe that again. It's about the masculine, the dog.
Well, yeah, like I said, for me, you don't have to be no gangster, no thug. I like those types too, but that's not going to be at the top of my list.
Okay, now where do you get those terms from? Gangster, thug? That from pop culture or society?
I guess there's a little bit of both.
Because if a person looks at you, wouldn't they put you in that category? Unfairly?
Some did, and it took me to speak for them to say, "Oh, right, like wow, you're a different kind of guy altogether." But it's just that the thing is, I borrowed styles from those things, but just because I borrowed styles from those, those groups doesn't make me a part of that group. I don't live their life the way they do. At least mine is the danger. I feel like I'm the more refined, cleaner version of that, but I still keep a very sharp edge. Let's just say that.
Okay, say it, those two things. You said thug and
gangster.
Now, is that just clothing? You can put on quote unquote thug clothing?
I consider.
Wait. It's a 3-point answer. 3-point question.
3-point.
I'll lose my thoughts. I gotta get it all in now. So, is it the clothing, Rock? Or is it the swagger? The
swagger, the image, the personification, the dialect, and of course the clothing. It's basically a whole mixed bag of things that could be considered this stuff.
But they're not really no thugs. They're not really
no. Some of them are.
Hoodlums and no gangsters.
No, some of them are. Some of them are a part of gangs. Are they about that life? Like they really don't take no shit. They're that hard ratchet hood type. Like if you look at them the wrong way, across the wrong way, they on some like
ratchet, thug, gangster.
Just
They're throwing a lot of adjectives out there for my beautiful black brothers. Now I just want to understand that, because I'm sure in your lifetime you've been mistaken for those things you're talking about. You do not like,
and I still do. I mean, I let people think what they want to think about me, because why should I argue about what I know is the truth for me? I'm living my truth, so I don't have to be anything that anybody else decides to describe me or define me as or place me in the box, because I will not fit in that box.
But that's what I'm saying, right? I'm saying just because you work, because you wear a certain type of clothing and you have a certain type of swag, or how to pronounce it, swag?
You can say swag or swagger.
Okay, I don't use those terms, but
yeah, I'm definitely swaggerific.
Okay, now, are you mimicking what you see in the black urban community, or that's just you? It comes natural.
It comes natural, and I just, like I said, I borrow certain things and I just transformed it into what you see today. And it's different because, again, I want to have it so they say at the end of the day, like, that's that, he's his own man. Like I said, I have that mixed in with a ghost, you could say, like you said it yourself, I have a way with words, I'm intelligent, I have a likable personality, and I'm a gentleman, but like I said, I'm a ladies' man and I'm a man's man.
You haven't met, quote unquote, thugs, gangsters who basically were smart when you start talking to them? Because like
they smart in the sense like they were intelligent as far as like having street smarts and some type of worldly knowledge, but they suffered from having the academic part.
Well, they might not have the actual paper, the sheepskin, whatever it's called, but they might have. I've met many guys who had the swagger, and they looked like they were. Take the great Tupac, okay? He would give you thug, he would give you gangster, but he was a very intelligent young man. And I know men to this day, I'm going to call it 2020 because in 6 months it's going to be 2020 anyway.
4 months.
Yeah, less than, right? Thank you. So
4 months.
Today, 2020, I know guys to this day who are intelligent, but their clothing, their what's the word? Demeanor. Their demeanor look, if you at a distance, you would think, oh, that's a thug. I mean, across the other side of the street. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say that. I'm just saying people would say that.
Yeah. People basically judge what they see.
They're judging a book by its cover. Mm-hmm. And they might be the smartest person in the room.
Somebody could actually hold a true deep conversation and actually know more than what you expected to know.
I know a few guys just like that.
No, and I tend to
I know the other extreme too, like you were saying. I know one, you turn your back, they'll still come. So I know both.
Wow.
So you wouldn't. Okay. As far as your type, like the guy was asking about your type.
Yeah, about why I prefer masculine over feminine.
So would you take? Wait. Would you take a guy who's a thug, quote unquote, gangster type demeanor, image, whatever you want to call it, and they were a bottom? Would that turn you off?
No.
But they act like a man 99.9% of the time, and they might act like, see, I'm getting my words all messed up, so forgive me out there in Radio Land. If I'm saying the wrong type of descriptions, I don't mean no harm to anyone. So you have this thug individual, but they prefer to be, I guess you say bottom of the day. Is that a turn on?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's gonna turn on, but I wouldn't be against it. I wouldn't turn them away.
Well, you would say, oh, I thought you was a thug. You're a bottom. Get out of here.
No, I don't have those type of angles because, like I said, when I lived in Philly, I met a lot of married, guys who, I would say they were more deeper. I wouldn't say deep. They were just more in the closet than I was, but they like that.
And they weren't thug. They were suit and tie, bro.
No. They were kind of gangster swagger, like similar to me, or like I said, or even harder than me. Like I've had those types, and they
prefer to be the bottom.
And not just that, but they still carry themselves like dudes. Like you used to never know that it was. And then let's just say even if we were in a place that was I guess you could say gay friendly, if two people saw us together, they would assume that he's the one that's
the top.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, not that I have any, I could care less what anybody assume what it is, because nobody, even my best friends now, don't even know what I really get into sexually.
Well,
Because
listen right now on radio.
no, but they don't know what I get into sexually when I actually do get with that person.
I heard you was into dressing up in panties.
Oh, who
and
told
wigs,
who told you?
like pink bras. I'm only joking, ladies and gentlemen. I'm acting silly. See, I don't get a chance to act silly over the course of the day, so I act silly once in a while on radio. So
Yeah, just don't give him no donuts or anything highly sweet.
too many nuts over there. I've been eating. Thanks to Damien, all this natural food. I'll probably lose about 5 pounds tonight. So above bottom would turn you on.
I wouldn't be against it as long as he don't carry himself like the traditional bottoms that seem to find their way towards me. And again, I don't knock people for what they do.
You just did.
I don't knock them for what they do. It's how they
preference. Okay.
Yes,
Okay. You're not
yes.
knocking. You just have
No,
a preference.
and about how they carry themselves. Now, if you come with as soon as you see me, legs are just cocked open like this, that's a turn off, complete turn off.
Oh, wait. Okay. I'm trying to understand this. So work with me, okay? So there's this dog you invited to your house, and the first thing you see, he's on his stomach. That's a turn off.
It depends on how he looks and what he's giving off. If he's giving off the right kind of vibe, where okay, give the vibe and the passion of a man who wants to enjoy being with another man versus I'm just hiding the ass and I want a dick in my ass.
And that's a turn off too.
Yes, because then you're making me feel like you're making me feel like I'm just random dick for you, and if my dick ain't any special than the dick you had before, the dick you could get after my dick. So why am I wasting my time performing for somebody that you could just get over me and find the next piece of dick just as quick?
But suppose they don't find your type on a regular basis, so now that they found the type they like, they can't wait to get that nice big beautiful 11-inch up in them.
Oh God, they sell dildo.
You know what I'm talking about?
This like that last comment. There's no such thing as 11. He's just throwing out numbers over
You
there.
gonna have people hit you.
I measured it last night, right? Okay.
You're gonna have your friend pay.
Yeah, we're just joking over there. You're refreshing.
But back to the thing, like I said, bro. Yeah, I prefer masculine because that's the closest thing to remind me of what makes a guy a guy. I like how a guy handles himself being as a guy, and of course the reason why a man is my choice is because nothing about him reminds me of women. Because when I'm with a woman, I'm not thinking about guys. I want everything that she embodies to make it so that not only am I not thinking about guys, but I'm thinking about her and only her. She's the only one that could appeal to me the way I would want a woman to appeal to me. Same with a guy. And I like guys to be a little bit athletic and sporty. That doesn't mean I'm superficial. I'm just saying that, like, you know, if I was in the long term, if I'm going to deal with, you know, and possibly cultivate and, you know, like I said, I am relationship oriented, but I'm a different person versus if I'm single versus I'm in a relationship. Oh yeah, and I'm very mysterious too. But the DNA over here wants me to be this heartless sex fiend, and I could be a beast. Like I said, I'm the things that people definitely warned you about. I'm like a werewolf. Like any day could be a full moon for me, where nobody's safe around me. I can be, but I have control over that switch, so it doesn't control me. But the thing is the shows. But yeah, all right, Rel, since you're the only one that seems to be doing some interacting like that, tell me, what do you think about, what is your intake or your outtake about heteronormative and homonormative when it comes to, you know, sexuality? What would be your sexual preference? What sexuality would you fall under this? Now, I'm only asking because I'm trying to get like a, you know, little dialogue back here and hopefully incite other people to kind of, you know, join the fray. Again, like a nice voice would be, you know, something to hear. Again, we're live. Call us 917-727-8020. And that number again is 917-727-8020. Remember, BU is not a dialogue, it's a dialogue, not a monologue. So let us hear your live input in your comments, please.
You made that.
As far as being mysterious, some of it comes natural, and some of it, I don't mind adding because it's a part of the charm, and it adds more to the factor of like, wow, what more interesting could I know about, this dude, I'm gonna say it like this, because I was actually gonna do it live before I did, the broadcast today, every Saturday I normally do. I was gonna say on my page basically about what was it? Damn, I just lost my train of thought. It was definitely the lines about being mysterious, but like I'm like I said, I'm the type of individual. I'm open to many things, but that doesn't necessarily mean like I'm gonna start about when it comes to. And that's what and I'm happy to hear you say that, Rel. Now for all of those, I really want to ask for those who's viewing right now, if whether you.
Could you read those comments?
Oh, Rel just said, I personally, I like masculine men, and I am a bottom that prefers a top. It honestly works for me.
What else? You ask him, does bottoms have a relationship with the bottom? Did the bottoms connect? Tops do connect.
Yeah, not bottoms connect better than tops could connect. The only way
sexually.
Yeah.
Two bottoms can have sex?
Yeah. Because some women would conform, or they just enjoy a good time together. Now, I believe you can with a top, because I've done it with other tops, but for the most part, it seems like most tops are just driven, they want ass. And again, this is just my opinion. I believe that most tops should be heterosexual. You want to fuck a woman, because women are the only ones that can receive a dick. But then I don't want to take away from the fact that sometimes, like for instance, like one of the many aspects, besides anal sex that I like, one of the many aspects I like about dealing with men is the masculinity. Like I like how men carry themselves, and they be they be a dude, they be a man, they be a nigga. There's nothing like that energy for them to be like that. As long as they don't go to extreme and think that they're the only man in the room, if you know what I mean. Some of them tend to that way, and I understand that. And for me, those alpha males, they need to deal with weak, submissive people who wants to be like that. And mind you, most men do get turned on knowing that they could dominate the indomitable. Somebody who's not easily dominated, it's like a turn on that they have that power to. It's like a thrill. I mean, to some degree, I like it, but I'm not trying to use my will to do it. My energy actually does it naturally without trying. I mean, I could be looking over here, minding my business, not even worry about what you're doing. But yeah, my energy encapsulates you and just makes you feel like you're not yourself anymore when you're around me. Let's just say that. And I don't know. I just get the satisfaction, the thrill, like knowing that here I am a masculine man, and my masculinity and me being a dude, it turned on another dude who's just as hard or harder than me, and like to make him feel like for that moment, I got his attention and his mind and his focus, and I'm good to go when when I get there. And like again, for the most part, I'm open to many things. I could be with a woman and only a woman. I could be with a man and only a man. I could be with a man who don't mind me having a female. I could be with a female who don't mind me having a dude. But the thing is, if I'm dealing with those extremes where I have a girl and she don't mind me messing around with a dude, or I have a dude and he don't mind me having a girlfriend, I believe that like when it comes to that particular setting, for me, only the girls getting the dick. What up, Joshua?
But suppose the dog want the dick too.
It depends on what we have. If we have the right connection, then the connection would be that I could be with him, and then I could, make it about him.
So you would have a threesome?
I'm not saying I wouldn't, but I don't want to spread myself thin to try to focus on. Unless I was single, like I said, there's a difference. If I'm single, I'm more likely to go down that path. But I'm a little bit possessive, and my focus tend to be like if I see two people, like for me, only me, I feel like it's pointless because I would find one of them more attractive than the other, and my focus would go on the person who I'm more attracted to.
So Mr. Rock, excuse me. So you ready to hear this? Everybody out there in radio land, you ready to hear this? Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there you go. So you're having this nice threesome. You're screwing this thug, and while you're screwing this thug, he's eating the pussy.
But see, to me, that when
while she's being eaten out, she's tongue kissing you.
I wouldn't be able to focus. I would. My focus would go toward the person who I'm more attracted to.
Well, you're equally attracted to all.
No, that's too confusing. I can't. Like I said, now I've done it in my past. I've done plenty of them. It doesn't work for me.
Doesn't work. So threesome doesn't work. Period. Threesomes.
No, I would prefer, because like I said, for me, I want to be able to have that particular choice that I feel is for me. Because once I have it locked, that's all I'm focusing on. Is that individual.
You're not good at threesomes.
No, I'm not. I couldn't initiate it in my past, and I spent.
I withdraw my invitation I sent out to you via email. We're just joking and having fun down here. Thank you very much.
All right, Rose said wrong, laughing out loud. Bottoms receive them well too, not just women. You can be masculine and still take dick. There is a beauty in submission. There is a trust factor there. I agree to a certain extent about being submissive, but again, that goes for certain. It depends on the individual. To each his own. For me, I don't get with somebody because I want to be dominant and I want them to be submissive to me, or I'm just aggressive and I'm going to go here and be on this warfare to just like, oh, I'm slinging dick and I'm just the god of war type shit. Like, I feel like who got the time to live that image? You know what I'm saying? Like, to be that. Like, then I feel like I'm spending less time being me that I know I could be, and that's all I really need to be. But I know that type of hierarchy works for people, and it is established to an extent, even if people are not trying to be dominant, aggressive, passive, or submissive. But for me, I look at it like this, especially when it comes to sexuality. And I'm not saying that as far as being in a relationship and being equal, but I believe sex to me is supposed to be an equal thing too, in the sense like to me, I'm not having sex with somebody who their energy isn't as equally dominating like mine, if not better. To me, I feel like if you're weaker than me, where meanwhile, like I don't have to put much effort and my energy alone could submit you and make you feel like you don't have a say so and you're in limbo, I'm done with you. It's like I'm like a cat playing with a mouse. Once there's no life in you, I lose interest. It gets boring for me. And I understand that to some degree, most people would say the same thing when it comes to certain aspects about me, that, hey, they would consider it boring. But then nobody told you to find me attractive. Nobody told you to find my image or what I bring to the table, my particular brand of energy, to be something you want. But now I'm boring because I won't be the very thing that you find appealing or what you normally have full range over when it comes to dealing with people. I think most people find it fascinating that they can have this effect and this appeal on other people. When it comes to me, it doesn't work with me.
Are you a talker?
Not really.
Suppose this thug, versatile bottom, want you to talk all nasty, not nasty, but in 30 days. But they want to hear dirty talk.
It depends on who he is and his energy that he gives off. If you give me the energy,
are you good at that?
I'm good at the energy. So if you give me the energy and make me want to talk to you, then I'll talk. Not because you want me to, because I know that it's there. The need is naturally there and it calls for it. And I could pretty much, once I get that feeling, I could pretty much, jump into character.
So if this thug called his booty a pussy, would that turn you off?
Completely off. Yeah. I know it's all fun, but to me, that type of talk doesn't really. It doesn't stimulate me. That doesn't. And then, like I said, I'm also.
So it sounds like you're asexual, right?
No, I'm sapiosexual and demisexual. Meaning, like, if your mental doesn't match my mental, I feel like you're inferior. You're weaker than me. So there's nothing that you could do to really appeal to me or stimulate me to make me want to be or behave the way you think I should behave for you. Like I said, I handle differently depending on who has me. Think of me as a weapon. I would change form, shape, and size depending on who's wielding me. What up, Earl? What up, Dareem? A lot of people tend to feel like, oh, why you gotta be like that? Because why? Because that means if I be my true self, I'm going to manifest to be a me that I'm supposed to be for that particular individual and certain individuals. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick music break. This will be you, and I'll be right back. What up, Lee? There's people on my page still, and I would say that. I said, let me take a short music break. This is DNAradio.net.
We at DNAradio.net are here to uplift.
I know we have an ego with our name. That was in Congress.
Broadcasted live. Yeah, what up, Lee? Yeah, I'm talking about the different types of sexualities within our lifestyle or our same gender loving community.
Hey. Trips is a plan for the next whole week. Paying so long for me, so cheap, but you flex so deep, sex so deep.
See, if you play stuff like this, I ain't gonna lie, because I haven't been to a club or bar in a long ass time, and I feel like this is the type of vibe that I need. That would like.
You ain't missing nothing. The clubs and the bars change, right? We gotta open.
No, I just miss the energy that I get. I know. I mean, I don't have to.
No, but we're not saying that.
I don't have to talk like have a conversation. I just miss making people like look back and forth and like, what's going on with you, and want to get up in my face and talk to me like.
You like to be the center of attraction.
Nothing wrong.
No, I don't mind people showing like when they shot or saying.
Use it while you can.
Thank you. I know I'm 37. I'm not gonna look like I'm 25, 26, 27 my whole life.
Use it while you can, man. Just remember, I'm number one, Daddy. That's it.
Okay, bro. As soon as I get home, I'm gonna read your comments. You said a lot of things. I like the conversation. I like your little feedback. Definitely. But I'm gonna say little was a big contribution to me, man. No, certain people could say that, and I could be cool with it. For the most part, the types that come up to me so much, "Ooh, Daddy, I like your beard. You this complete turn off." I'm like,
what do you like? What do you like hearing?
It's not that I like to hear it. It doesn't come from the right people.
Oh, okay.
Well,
So,
he said that I have that credit card for him. Tell him that I have one. I'll give Rock that guaranteed love that he could come when the money and the rest of the.
Listen, I'll make you melt in a pool or a puddle of your own essence.
We never had that yet.
No, but you keep talking a good shit. I'm telling you, I got it.
You said, what did you say about that? You thought I was married, but what, Rock? Even when you marry, you have that one person inside. That's not a cheat. That's somebody that we have what we have.
You stop everything for
you
him.
always have that, and you still be married. But that person, that one person, even in your marriage, when that man, your husband, your wife act out, well, that's how you gotta have it. I mean, and I don't think it's cheap. I think everybody have that special person should have it.
What up, Manny? Manny Cotty? What? Man Cotty? I'll just call you Manny. What up, Manny?
You can sing really good, and I haven't found this guy.
Oh, my brother Jay. Oh, man. I got my PlayStation crew up on here. I'm going to give him a shout out. We got Joshua, we got Majin, and we got.
She shot everybody out on the radio. So people like that. So real quick, you want to read your first what the topic is once we come back?
Yeah.
One song. Just one song.
Yeah, we go after this.
I like this mixture, Drake and Chris Brown. I like all this, collaborations.
The vibe and the ambiance and the delivery is just like, if you had a couple drinks, definitely get you in the zone.
What song would that be, Frank? Frank. What song would that be? Make you nice, little versatile about it?
No, there's no amount of drinks or drugs in the world. A lot of people would love to see that show. What y'all think? We just sitting here having fun talking shit, but what do y'all think about if Rockman became versatile?
Why not? I want to watch.
Yeah, my photographer, we used to always tell me that. He don't want to hear about none of my sexcapades unless it's me trying to be about him one time.
Therefore, we respectfully ask everyone to be mindful of what you say and how you say it. DNAradio.net presents the video show with your host, Rockman, for the millions and millions of Rockman's fans out there.
It's your boy, Rockman. Yes, sir. What's going on? We back. I just took a little quick music break.
Basically, a quick nut on Chris Brown and Drake. Oh, sorry.
I would say something about those two, but keep it up here.
You say Drake, I'll say Chris.
No, you can't. Chris, listen. I'm his twin. We were both born on the same day. He a Taurus just like me, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. Anyway, I want to give a quick shout out to my PlayStation crew, my friends. You know who you are. We got Majin, we got Mayo, Jay, and we got Joshua, the Sunshine. Happy Leo season, by the way. But anyway, tonight's topic is about the different sexualities that exist within our same gender loving community. I'm going to give you the definitions, but so far today I talked about demisexual, sapiosexual, pansexual, queer, transgender, asexual, and of course the acronym for the LGBTQ, which is lesbians, gay, transgender, bisexual, queer. I know asexual's in there, but I didn't say A when I said the LGBTQ. There's so many letters, I don't know what it goes in any order after that, so we'll just, for the sake of, blowing our minds. But I think before we took our break, Rel has said, as you mentioned, you can't help who you find physically attractive. We do confirm our attraction during the investigative work of getting to know the person. Absolutely correct, man. You're definitely right. You're definitely 100 with that. But again, what do we do when we find that person we, have that connection with, and let's just say it's mutual? And you find out once you get to the point, eventually sex will become a topic, From what I've been told, especially about asexual people, most asexual people won't tell you that they're asexual because usually not many people are going to want to be in a relationship with an asexual person because there is no sex. And the thing is, most of them have a get out of jail free card on that because they could cleverly disguise it as, and I'm not coming after them, I'm just telling you some of the tactics that they would, because I believe they're just entitled to pursue a romantic setting because they still crave intimacy and romantic, endeavors on the level, but they just don't want the physical part of it, or the intimacy, or maybe orgasm. What I'm saying? They're not really interested in that either, or sharing or exploring, the body and stuff. But they do want to be in there, and then yes, of course, having sex outside of them would still be considered cheating because you are committed to that person. What up, Corey? Oh wow, you finally showed up to one of my shows. Okay. But anyway, I'm going to give you the definitions of what these different sexualities are. We all know the L in the LGBTQ is for lesbians, which is basically the category for gay women or women that deal with women. Then we got gay, which is men deal with men. Then we got transgendered. I'm going to read the definition of that. I can read what I have in front of me. Transgender basically is denoting, it's an adjective, is denoting or relating to a person whose sense of personal identity and gender does not correspond with their birth sex, meaning that what they was born with when they first came into this world from the womb, they don't identify with that gender that they was classified. So they was a male, they don't identify as a male, even though they are classified, technically they are, because biology says that they're male, but they don't feel that's not what they identify as. Same with women. They could start off having a vagina and being women, but they identify as a male. Okay, Ralph said conversation is key and it is a must. It eliminates confusion up front because you asked all the key questions early on. No, I believe in the getting to know each other phase, the dating phase. That's more like an interview to see if that person qualified for a relationship, to see if to go long term, and then of course, a relationship is the step before marriage. But again, it's important. What's it?
You said the dating stage?
Yeah,
Do gays actually date or they just have sex?
they do, but nowadays it's very rare. I'll say that, but there's some. I would say there's some. I believe that if since I consider myself the dating type, I believe if I exist, there's others out there. It's just that it's not well practiced in the mainstream.
Do guys on the down low actually date?
Some of them do. I mean, they want to go out to dinner and stuff and have, and stuff like that. Who's to say, like, even friends go out to dinner and on that level? Like, you could be two guys who are friends, maybe long friends, college friends, childhood friends, and, my childhood friends come and they come and we go out to a restaurant, we go out to a bar, and we're friends.
So why is it perceived that guys on the down low, they just want to have quick sex? They don't want to date, they don't want your phone number, and they want to, you just here for Tuesday, and on Thursday, they got somebody else.
I don't want to, God, I didn't want to get on the mic, but so don't let me get on the mic, but just listen to this.
No, you gotta hear it, it's great.
All right, I didn't want to get on the mic. I'm just a guest here, but what I would say is I believe Rockman answered that for you earlier when you say perceive. So those things it can be rumors, it can be whatever you want to call it, haters. What Rock said to you earlier, so that guy, the term you utilized was down low. That down low guy finds someone that he can rock with, that he can be with, and gives him something more. Like Rock kept saying, the key word, you have to listen to what he said to them. He kept saying, someone who gives me more, someone who can do that. Then he wouldn't just want sex from you. If all you have to offer this gentleman, whoever it is. So I wouldn't even say it's fair for the down low guy. All you have to do is offer whoever just sex. Then that's all they want from you. What more could you offer the person? And then that's not all they will want.
And then for the moment, that sounds so cheap and like, let me wipe my face with this tissue and it's discarded. That's basically
the world. When they hear down low, they think this person's only on the down low because he's hot in his pants on Monday, and then by Thursday he's hot again.
I'm gonna tell you the reason why I think there's a term or why there is a down low. I believe because of the
society.
It's because of the stereotype and the stigma attached to homosexuality. Period. Like even when you tell people, even when I tell people I'm bisexual, I'll use myself as an example. I might as well tell them I'm gay, but they don't realize gay is a mentality, a different mindset for a particular set of homosexual men. You know what I'm saying? Like a homosexual man is just a man who just wants just the sex part of dealing with men. That's it, nothing more. They don't care about the culture. They don't care about the dating or getting to know each other or having the friends and stuff. Sex is their particular interest. If they classify or identify as homosexual, now they're gay. Now they want the parades, the houses, the balls, the fashion. The things that make the lifestyle more glamorous. That's what a gay man is.
They want to be part of a community.
Yes.
Whereas the down low guy,
they don't want nothing to do with the community. They could care less about the community. Their whole point is, like, even when I say
that's what I was saying earlier. They just want. I'm not dissing my down low brothers. More power to you, baby. But they just want the down low sex, and then I'll see you whenever I see you.
No, but that's the thing. It's hard for them to find other down low men because it's not like they ring out of the sky or they just think about like a superhero that has a mask. Like nobody knows who Spider-Man is. He's going out there saving lives, for free, and yet nobody knows who's underneath that mask. He could be you, it could be me. I mean, I'm not saying it like he's real, but
the analogy got me totally lost. But what you said was very profound earlier about the down low guy can't find other down low guys because the community is so secretive. You can't find them.
I don't think that's an issue now.
Yes. So therefore, by default, they're just like how I said. My relationship experiences tend to have been with gay men, but I had sex with all types of men, whether they were down low, bisexual, they identify as gay, tops, bottoms, masculine, hood, thug, gangster, submissive, dominant. I've dealt with them all.
But they don't use those titles to describe themselves, do they?
Not really, but basically I was just throwing it out there just to let you know that
Individual.
yeah, I dealt with several different individuals. Now, within that said, the reason why I believe my relationship experiences were more predominantly with gay men, because gay men were the only type of men I was able to identify their liking towards men and my liking towards men, and we were able to establish, you know, trying to connect versus, oh, I see this dude, he looks attractive, and I can't figure him out or know if he's with it or something. Like if I approach him, what if he's not with it and I embarrass myself, or vice versa, because I tend to spook a lot of guys too, and they won't approach me because I don't look it. Spook meaning like if I talk to him, is he going to want to fight me or punch me in my face, or be aggressive or try to hurt me?
So spook is like you observe them,
Spook meaning that they're scared to approach or say something because they feel the fear of what if he's not. So they're a little spook, like they like what they see, but they're not bold enough to approach.
But since you're a masculine individual like myself, couldn't you just start a conversation about a sports, football?
Sometimes that doesn't work. It's not that easy. But no, because sometimes I think the same thing, especially when somebody's I don't like small talk. So if somebody try to use small talk to talk to me, I'm liable to make it hard for you to get whatever agenda you're trying to get off. I'm gonna either make you be straight up about it, or you're gonna be like, you know what, I'm not gonna say it, and then just keep the conversation like that, and that's really not the conversation they want.
And that's also annoying. And the way you just said it, people know a bullshitter.
Yes,
bullshit.
Thank
what
you.
You just said small talk. Especially in New York, how where all our lives are also fast trucked. Everybody's going everywhere. The trains are delayed. They're hot. Nobody want to talk about that shit. Nobody want to hear that.
But you're standing on the subway platform.
But I may not want to hear that from you. You don't know where I came from prior to sitting on that subway. I don't know. You have this sense of thinking that it should just be that way.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, you're on the platform. You're on the platform, and you both are upset that the subway is taking longer than normal. You couldn't start a conversation like that, as opposed to the word spook.
No. And I hear what you're saying, and that sounds all great in Disneyland, fairy tale land. First of all, we have so much trauma in our community besides the small talk and the down low, the damage that we have, that we can't even speak to each other because we're afraid of each other, and that damage and trauma. Some black dudes are ice grilling each other that has nothing to do with gayness. They're already ice grilling each other like we're gonna kill each other, and we can't even open up to say hello to each other sometimes, like a lot, not all of us. So don't call it
a vast majority.
So the trauma that we have, forget the small talk. You already just talking about getting with me. We can't even look each other in the eye and say, sorry, man, for stopping on each other's sneakers, some of us. Or my bad, man, some of us. We'll want to take each other's heads off, besides getting over that yet. So that's the trauma we need to work on first.
But can't you say,
well said.
But can't you say, yo, what's up? No. What's up?
To a damaged guy, I have to come back to this gentleman, guy. Sorry, guy. To a damaged guy, that hey, what's up?
Especially if he's toxic and hypermasculine.
I'm serious about this. I don't want.
No, when you say no homo, I mean, I'm not trying to think.
I don't want to say no homo. You have to listen to me first. Let me finish that. Forget that. To a damaged individual who's traumatized, speaking to him, he's already got so much other baggage. You cannot.
And he got his guards up.
There's a lot of people that what you say, I get what you're trying to say, and that's great. And sometimes people like you get hurt, pushed on the tracks, and a whole bunch of other stuff, and all of that. And no, honestly, there's a lot of damage and trauma in our community, man. We got to work on that first. Sometimes before you trying to pick up a date and whatnot, I would never diss a black man, so I'm not going to call him no kind of nigga and all of this stuff. But I'm saying some of us are so damaged that we can't even see the small talk. That shit go over your head. Would he want something from me? You know me? All of that other stuff. Can't even see that. Some. So keyword radio world. Some, but a lot are damaged and traumatized. I see it. Doesn't happen to me, but I see it. I've seen us approach each other. And he's like, hey man, just sorry. And ready to take each other's heads off. And I see the other communities, not all, but some white guys bump into each other, everything is okay. They step on it, and we act like animals sometimes.
Ready to
So
take their head
besides
off, yeah.
we are traumatized. So I don't even think about dating anybody. Most of the time, I don't want to stand too close to the yellow line.
For me,
When these people
I
are
don't
watching
like
my
to deal with
back.
the apprehensive or
Right.
that extra.
That makes sense.
And then of course, mixed in with apprehension and of course, ego and pride and all this other crazy stuff. Like people on guard. Yeah, they're on guard with a lot of things.
So now, do women have the same problem, you think, in terms of talking to a man?
Well, remember last time when everybody was here? I think
Love and lust?
yeah,
Love and lust?
Miss Charms. You
No,
remember?
that's Venus versus Mars.
Well, yeah, it was last time when she was here. She said something about that, about women don't never get a chance to approach men, and I said bullshit, because women purposely wait for men to approach because they know it's like it's almost established that a man has to do the talking, a man has to approach, just like a man has to be the one to propose. And I'm not saying that women haven't proposed. It's very few women who propose. More than likely, people have a bad rap about it. They would say, oh, even other women would bash women, be like, oh, she's desperate. She makes the first move and go for what she wants. Why can't a woman go for what she wants? To me, it says in the Bible, like, hey, women are supposed to be man's equal. What they supposed to say, equally yoked or whatnot, and supposed to be, she's the leader that helps the leader. She might not be the leader that's like up on the forefront, but she's supporting him. What they say, behind every strong man is a strong woman. But women don't want to take the power. They want to be our equals and stuff, but they don't want to take the responsibilities of those things. But and sometimes some men won't let them do it because why? A man will feel emasculated and feel like, oh no, women can't do this, or women can't approach me and do this, and da 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 da. So like, really? Like I'm like but they hear that, but that goes with the thing about what I said about heteronormative. Oh, a woman's job is to be in the kitchen, cooking and cleaning and taking care of home, raising the kids and doing the laundry and all that stuff. The man supposed to go out there, do the hustle, get the work done, and be the representative of keeping the household, because he's the head of the household. He's the representative of that. That's the reason why the woman takes his name when they get married. And I'm like, all this stuff is like, really? And yet I see it just even in the heterosexual sense. I see how so many relationships or families kind of fail. Think about how many kids are in foster care and they need to be adopted because ignorant parents that don't know how to get over themselves, or this heteronormative toxic situation, and they're not thinking about the lives or the livelihood of other people involved with that scenario.
So getting back to my good brothers, the DL guys. Now, since it's so hard for other black men to meet other black men without going to clubs and bars and other places we won't mention on radio, let me clear my throat. That sounds like an opportunity for a business to have something going, like BU Nation could be a community that could be built to help these individuals to meet each other without getting their head cut off.
It's going to take a while to revolutionize that, but there is a market that is not a market. There's a need for it. Yes, absolutely.
There's a need for it, but apps have killed that, and I'll be the devil's advocate for that. Wouldn't work the way it worked 5 to 6 years back with all the grinder and all of the other instant stuff. I'll be the bad cop here. Wouldn't work the same. Sorry, it's too instant, and people, the very small group that wants that, they'll find you. They'll come to the Rock Nations, the BU Nation. The average person now wants to be on their phone, get what they want right there, and not have that.
And bypass the mainstream and the unnecessary.
All of that. Nobody wants to join, and I know that that's big on you. And he loved that you said that because he's already thinking maybe we'll start something. The average person, just the fact that you was putting that business in there, maybe to start it. No. With the creation of the grinders and all those other things, it has killed all that other stuff.
Not just that, the instant gratification, like you said, the quick, the easy fix, the bandage over the thing.
The video sales.
Well,
we're talking about the apps, not the
what?
Not the place that you're trying to facilitate, but.
No, I think the app is a plus. I think.
No.
No, the thing is this: why would you want to be on these apps for hours, swiping left, swiping up,
You don't have
swiping
to be for
down.
hours.
And people
Find
have
what you want and you
attitudes.
get up
I'd rather
for hours.
at least you be in an attitude. At least in the club, I can see because, like I said, I can read body language very good. Versus if I see your picture and I see your profile, I don't know if you're an asshole, you're a waste of time, or you're fully yourself, or you got your nose in the air like you're too, you know. And there, a lot of those people on those apps tend to be like that because they can get the internet. It provides a filter, a mask that you could be anything you want, and nobody could call you out on it. And you can say whatever. You can waste people's time. You know how many times I got stood up? I went to the Bronx to go meet, you know, a couple of individuals and got stood up, and I'm sitting here looking like a damn fool.
I think the way you look at it, you're making my point. That's my point, Rock. Is that why would you want, not you, I'm talking in general.
The average, yeah.
You know, why would an individual want to waste their time searching for this Mr. Right, and then once you think you found Mr. Right, you show up and nobody answers the door?
Catfish.
Well, you're the catfish. They were the
No,
catfish.
they were. That's why they don't answer the door because they knew they got
But then
caught.
why invite you up, right?
It's almost like asexual people. They want to, they don't, but they didn't realize how deep they're. And once you get in so deep, it's like I might as well continue going. That's what they think, at least.
But I still think the BU Nation, the BU community, there's an opportunity to serve these individuals who don't even know they need service. Like we didn't know we need iPhones, but once the iPhone came, you know, you had everybody loving it, and then you have imitators like Android and Samsung copying. And not talk, don't even go to the Chinese, what they're doing. So I believe if you build it, they will come. I might be putting out too much information already to the world. I don't know who's listening, taking down notes. If you're going to do it, consult with me. I can help you out rather than you try to start from scratch.
What's going on, Paula? What's going on,
Your
Randy?
competitors are already listening and heard that. All your
Rel just said, so if you are asexual or pansexual, for example, and break that down,
that's what
clarity hits the room instead of confusion or assumption. Definitely agree. And he says also, all DL men simply want sex. For some, they look for a set of things. One, some look for entry into the gay market. Two, or if you will, some look for entry into the gay market, if you will, but have no idea how to get in. Some DL men use an outman to get information. That's definitely true.
You're looking at your page?
Yeah, my page.
Your Instagram or Facebook?
Facebook. First and more than anything, they get understanding of themselves, like an X-Men who just discovered they have powers. That's a pretty good analogy, Rel. I like that. And then he says, all DL men don't simply want sex. Yeah, that's true.
What do they want then?
Like you said, entry into the gay life, the gay world. Like they might not know much of things. Like I could say in the beginning, I was kind of like that. I didn't know.
Do they meet other guys?
Not just that, but I didn't even know a top or bottom. I just knew I was attracted to men. You know, and I was still when I was in the exploratory phase. And
you didn't know where to go to meet them.
Yeah.
So
they would purposely would pick, and like I said, sometimes I like to make less trouble for me. Like, why would I waste time trying to play guess who with 3 or 4 individuals when I could pick someone who's obviously with it? Then at least I know, hey, he likes guys, so I'm going to talk to him.
But that's the reason why. But one second, you said earlier, dogs want a feminine guy because there's no gameplay.
No, even when they establish when it is, and then that's not a factor. They still prefer femininity in their quality of people they like to deal with. Period. Not just because he's out or he's obvious with it. It's just that's their preference. That masculinity turns them off.
I think, no disrespect to my feminine brothers. I think the feminine guys worship the down low thugs, so they know they'll get worship.
I don't know.
No, in the past maybe, but now they evolve.
Worship is a word. No, I would like to just say one thing also. So again, the things that I'm saying is not like, so a broad statement of
what's going on, Calvin.
Most people don't even know what they want, and that's not just on gay, even though it's heterosexual, whatever. Most people don't even know what they want. And again, I'm gonna be the bad guy. Social media is great when it's used for good, but social media has killed the person to just see that regular guy who's working, or to see that guy who's a custodian. Because social media with these guys, I've seen people, and not to name anybody shouting out, there'll be that one guy on social media who's really how to work out, or that person who's whatever. You'll see all the people under it liking it, and then they base everything or everybody around that. So again, it's so many things in the community that's still so screwed up in the sense that, you know, sometimes people don't want that average regular guy when they're looking for that person that they think have this perfect, beautiful life on Instagram, and they're liking all of those pictures and whatnot, or those six-pack abs, or that beautiful life.
But you said it earlier,
whatever.
preference.
Right. I wouldn't think, I'm trying to go deeper than that. That's not a preference. Sometimes that's because it's thrown in your face and you think that that's what everybody else wants when you see all of your friends liking his pic. That's what's happening.
I disagree.
I don't.
I think you like what you like. All it takes is just one look for me. All it takes is just one look. And you like what you like.
You're not in this new society. Your world is different now.
We created the world. My generation created this whole thing. I'll take credit for it.
Your world created this, but your world doesn't have social media when they have this guy who's on this filter with this six-pack ab and all that. You guys didn't have that. I didn't even want to say that. You said that. You put that in, but you didn't have that instant gratification. So as I said, and I'm going to stand by that, a lot of the times, a lot of people base what's hot and what's new or what they should be liking based on what they see.
Or what everybody else is liking.
Or what everyone else is liking. A lot of this era, now they're lost, and that's what they're doing. It'll be a drove of guys liking this one guy, and there's a couple of names that I won't name. It's like a couple of guys on social media now that may be the popular guy because he's in the, you know, whatever, he's a bodybuilder, whatever he may be. He's been on one of these sitcoms or one of these web series, and everybody's drooling over the person. So everybody feels that that's, you know, what it is, and they forget about the guy that you can reach. We had this conversation earlier on the show. A lot of those guys you can't even reach. They wouldn't even look at you twice. You understand? But that's what you're basing on, like, you know, and then they'll meet the guy, like you're saying, the one, and they don't even want that because sometimes they get so disillusioned by that illusion.
So I'm going to elaborate on what you. I'm going to elaborate what you said about. You said the master, the feminine guys want this thug, gangster, hood type of guy, whatever. Some of them are learning to deviate from that path because it's so stereotypical and it's so sought out by everybody. And they say, you know what, why should I want what everybody else wants? So I don't know. I want things differently because sometimes when you come with that image, like, yo, what up? I'm that nigga. Yo, son, I'll smack the shit out of you, or I don't play that bullshit. Like I'm about you don't play with my emotions type shit. Those, you know, those gay men tend to say, you know, I don't want those guys because they're so stereotypical. Like they're out there, they're a dime a dozen. Like they're not giving out anything new that's not already been put out there. So they're looking. So they looking for more. Not to that, they look for ways to try to discredit people who say pride and say, hey, I'm hood, I'm masculine. Like I'll take it for example. When I used to work at this place called the West Side Club, and I hope some of them are watching.
I'm giving them a free commercial.
I'm not. I'm just giving I'm just paying homage to the cattiness and how some of these gay men think when it comes to dealing with regular guys who. They don't realize a regular guy is working in the establishment, but they try to turn me to be like them, like witty, catty, and all that other stuff, and gossipy. And I'm not a child married, and I could care less about that. Is it contagious? I wouldn't say it's contagious, but if you're weak and you go in there, you might come in there starting like this, but then you turn into one of those. Hey, you'll turn into them.
Well, maybe because if there are no role models like yourself and myself and my man over here, you think that's how you're supposed to be.
No, they purposely try to change that. Like I said, they try to come at you. They try to chip away and make you feel like, am I in the wrong place? Maybe I need to be like them.
That's why when you said the word spook, I was surprised that came out there.
No, but that's just a term. That could be in anything.
Yes.
They say that.
I never use that in my life. Unless it was the spook that sat by the door. Good movie, good book.
We have to remind this gentleman that your age is just a little older, and not calling. Also, you've never used that
you're
term.
my grandson. Thank you.
Yeah, guess what? This generation, I just think it's words. In all jokes aside, I think it's words because my dad still says things of his generation, so it's just words. You probably wouldn't say spook because now these guys say spook, and you're not out there. You're not like in the mix.
I think it was my generation that all this what the people are doing. Everything that's happening now with this LGBT rights community. I think it was my generation that laid the
No, I think maybe one or two generations before you guys was on that, because I even heard terms that your generation used, but it's not from your generation. It's just that you got it from the guys before you.
What words I use?
Let's just say
I don't have no.
well, I never particularly heard your brand of saying those things. I heard certain terms, but I'm gonna use more. I know a few gentlemen who's you would be their grandchild. Yeah, you would be their grandchild, and they talk like that, like with the house terms, house music.
Well, I was never into that. I guess you got to be in that. You have to be in that type of community, that type of world. I was never in those.
Almost like your friend over there with the Sun People. Like he didn't get that. That wasn't.
Oh, he's part of that world. He's part of that world. I remember him. I wouldn't mention his name. I remember him.
I was trying to think of the creative way of saying that without really saying it. Like
there was this club called Better Days, and they had a slogan on their T-shirt: "Better days creates better nights." And boy, did it did. Anyway, in the back you had our friends, the trannies and the drag queens in the back, and you had those guys who did the voguing and stuff. They were in the back. And your son, man, he was in the back voguing. And I was saying to myself, 40 years later, I know your face from somewhere. And that's where I remember him back in the back of Better Days voguing back there. We both were young, we're probably in our 20s. So there's no diss. I think the voguing thing is beautiful. Voguing. Am I pronouncing it? Voguing. Okay, I think voguing is beautiful. I just hope the LGBT community keeps control of it and don't let it become pop culture and
that's too late.
Too late.
Way too late. You said
Madonna.
Polls, TV, and she took the money. Right.
Well, make the money, guys. Make the money.
Well, they are, and not a vulgar here, but I'll tell you something about what he's saying. It has now become they travel the world to Vienna and all over.
That is beautiful.
And it's a huge, big thing, and it's bigger. So for some people who want to say, well, you hope people control it. If it's getting some people to where they need to be, then that's the change. And it's taking people sometimes out and paying their bills, and if it's a career.
I don't know how good your memory is. I spoke to you probably 10 years ago about the vision I saw, and 30 years ago.
And what happened is your mistakes. You talk about it. We said that before. They're doing it.
Right. They're doing it.
You said
well, I wasn't.
Me.
I'm not in that world. I'm not in that world.
About us being
I wouldn't even know where to start.
Listened to us.
Huh?
They should have. I told you what one of the guys said.
You knew one of the guys, but I didn't know anybody in that world.
What makes you the one? What makes you the person to help us do that?
Well, they asked you the question,
right?
Okay.
What could you do?
Because we were not part of that community, but I saw the vision. I saw, like the WWE. I saw the vision, you know. So, did we mess you up on your schedule?
Oh no.
Your agenda. We have. I say at the top of the hour, let's promote the other shows down here, Rock, but we'll go along with.
All right. Oh yeah, the top of the hour.
We're running overtime because Venus and Mars is usually on at this hour. So what's up to Wiz and Charms? What's up to Red Spice?
Yeah, Wiz came on early, and I said what's up to him.
Yeah. So what's up to all those guys? We're now in the Venus versus Mars. They're out of town taking care of personal business. Mm-hmm. But hey, more power to you. And I believe the California Nate Ski is on vacation. So we're just, doing overtime down here. So back to your agenda and your schedule.
All right. Well, Calvin said DL is the same as being closeted, which is true. It's just another word.
Well, no, wait. Just because a person's on a down low doesn't mean they're in the closet. It's just not out there flamboyant. I don't think DL down low. You just live a down low life.
But is it? But being in the closet is the same thing. It's not known. Nobody knows what you're doing, and it's just a term that means the same thing if you think about it.
Okay.
Think about cock and penis or dick. White people consider cock another word for dick, and we just call it dick.
I would like to understand the history of that. Why would they call a nice, beautiful black dick a cock?
They just call it, period. If it's a penis and it's on a male, it's...
it just came to me. Those were like the little code words. Nobody knew. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's like a little whisper cock. Nobody knew what they were talking about.
But down low and closet actually really means the same thing. It's just hidden. It's not out there in the open where people know what's going on.
I've never met a guy who was quote unquote down low that actually said, I'm down low. I've never heard a guy with a down low. I heard it earlier too.
I felt it too.
Is that upstairs or?
I think it was downstairs.
Somebody's doing that purposely. You need to eventually find out, even if you management. Somebody literally just did it to the ceiling. It's not like you're being
So-
loud.
No, it fell on the ground. I felt it.
It's under.
Under.
But it's not like if you're being loud or we stomping on the floor.
Okay, so we'll take care of that. Okay.
Yeah, because that's not the first time. Even the guy said that.
Yeah, earlier I heard it too.
Doing that.
That was like,
they're taking something.
there was no at all. Let's
No,
say
it wasn't even loud.
right. Let's say installing something.
Huh?
They installing
At
something.
this time, I just don't see about that.
To be,
You
yeah,
don't
thank
install nothing
Wow.
like
To
that.
be continued.
Rel said we have to take the good with the bad with social media. It's still our responsibility to extract and to get to know that person beyond media. That's true. Then he also says social media introduces everyone's representative. However, it is our homework to confirm what we see about that person. We still have to extract the authenticity of the human being. We can't blame social media is my point, or technology collectively. I kind of agree, Rel. People who tend to be lazy and use it as a scapegoat or crutch to say.
What he said about, did he answer
That's
something
what
I said?
Rocks.
Oh, no, but he's answering something I said about social media.
They
Yeah,
responded
What
to
he
what you
said?
said.
yeah. He said we can't blame social media. That's the point that you're trying to make, or about technology
But
collectively.
you weren't blaming. You were just saying that the market we're trying to do with this
Blame.
nation is
He didn't get it. He probably didn't get it. No blame game. He was talking about creating
a community.
a community, and with social media now, a lot of people feel that they don't need it. Definitely wasn't blaming social media. I'm a business owner, and I totally use social media for my benefit. Social media has taken away the middleman for me for marketing, so totally no blame game for social media. But what we were talking about in regards to starting a business, he was talking about a physical business where people come and sit. They don't have that need anymore for social media. So that's my point.
But I disagree with that.
Okay.
You know, 'cause if that's the case, our
What am
good
I
friends on the
What up,
west
Kirk?
and east would be in business.
They're
38.
not getting. I'll be.
So I won't say.
That
I won't
good crowd.
give too many.
You're good. I hear all
Venues.
of that, but a lot of the black guys are not going there. I hear what you're saying about that. Those places are still neat, but I think you're missing the point too. It's not like it was before. Trust me. I don't go to the
But I understand that
street.
before it wasn't before, it didn't exist.
No, but
I'm saying in '96, excuse me, in 1992, it didn't exist. And when we were promoting stuff in '93, '4, '5, and '6, it was like, what the heck are you doing? Never heard of such a thing.
I hear.
So
what-
now that it exists, you're saying it's dead before it took off.
no,
I
hear
was
what
10 when
he-
all this was going on. I wasn't even thinking about stuff like this.
I hear what. he
Well, it
said.
existed. Sorry, you missed all the fun.
I
Too
hear,
young,
I
too
hear
young, too
everything
young.
that you're saying too, though. But a lot of those places have lost. It's not the same.
I respectfully disagree, and we'll move on. Because they're taking notes as we're speaking.
Oh, shit, well.
So- We already lost the evolve scene with those great ideas we had 10 years ago. We should have put it into motion, but we didn't do it. But as you were saying, Rock, let's do it at the top of the hour. Let's do you have this in front of you?
Yep, I got it.
Okay. Now you got to put the 4 o'clock, which is Damien's show. And I don't have it there yet printed out.
All right, so you want to start that off then? And I'll do.
We'll do it together. DNAradio.net, the #1 internet radio station in the world. So all you doubters out there, screw you, mother schmuckers. We're the #1 internet radio station in the world.
Number 1.
All those doubters and haters. We play the best new music all day, every day. Our live shows every Saturday. It starts at 4 p.m. with film, food, and more with our great host, Damien. I call him D. Damien D. Film, food, and more, 4 p.m. It's on you, Rock.
And at 5, we have Love and Lust starring Red Spice.
And co-host, Wizzy Wiz.
Yes, my man.
At 6:30, we have BU, the show you're listening to now, BU and BU Nation, starring my good friend, the Rockman.
Then 8, we're followed with Venus versus Mars, starring my man Wiz and my girl Charms. If you really want to know about the issues that men and women deal with, it's a show about any and everything and never about nothing.
Exactly. Okay, now I want to talk about our God. I mean, it might sound like a contradiction down here. We're talking about all this. Well, I'll say it like this. Sex, to me, is not a weirdness. It's not a strange thing. It's God made us. So why should we be afraid and ashamed of having sex, right? So on that note, I want to say we have a gospel station that runs 20. I have to preface that.
Anytime, bro. You good. We got you, man.
We have a 24-hour gospel station down here. It's all day, every day, 24 hours a day. We play great gospel music on a different station. It's our sister station, let's say. And the website is JesusOnlyRadio.com. JesusOnlyRadio.com. We're not ashamed to say this because who do you think blessed us down here to have 2 radio stations? So yes, we're going to promote our gospel station proudly all day, every day, 24 hours a day. No commercials, commercial free, and of course, no infomercials. Once again, it's JesusOnlyRadio.com. And on Sundays, we do gospel all day down here on DNAradio.net. Okay, thank you, Rock.
All right. So again, I'm gonna refresh my history and talk about, like I said, as a matter of fact, no, I'm gonna talk about one of my other subcategories that I didn't get a chance to mention. What do you guys think about the heteronormatives reaching, our walk of life, in our same gender community? Should we follow the guidelines and the protocols that heterosexual people follow within their relationship, or do you think a relationship or even sex should be catered around how those 2 individuals decide to want to carry themselves? I actually do kind of like what you just said a few minutes ago, DNA, when you said about sex is something that belongs to each and every single one of us, but it's also the responsibility. We also share that burden to be responsible about, learning how to deal with whatever individual we decide to deal with. And whether we're the ones who are receiving or the ones who are doing the pursuing, it's like they said, with great power comes great responsibility. So if you want the satisfaction of being fulfilled when it comes to sex, I believe most people got to take the initiative to know how to be responsible.
So is the gay community only about sex?
It isn't. No, it is more than just about sex. And I would even expand about even when it comes to bisexual people, because most people think that bisexual means that, oh, we're trying to have sex with men and women at the same time, and there's no filter, that nobody's safe. And it's kind of sad to hear, especially when women think that like they have to fear other bisexual men, or even there's a stigma going around about down low men, that they're so secretive, they're doing things, they're infecting women with STDs and diseases and shit because they're just sleeping around and stuff. But what about the ones that just responsible if they were just predominantly heterosexual or predominantly gay and they only want one person and they're not trying to sleep with the whole town? They don't talk about those men who tend to be responsible with their choice about who they could be open to sexually, or how many people could that they could actually be around, that they have the option for it.
Have anyone ever accused you of using bisexuality as escapism?
Yeah.
You don't want to be called gay, so you put the little thing, I'm bisexual?
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, damn it. Call me what you call me.
What would you call me?
In the beginning, when I first started this, I would say it was, and that was, in the beginning, I was kind of closeted or down low, if you want to call me. The only reason why, to some extent, I would consider myself down low is because if I don't say anything and it doesn't legitimately come up, nobody would ever come to the conclusion that men is also a choice for me. I don't
Wait. You said you were in the closet?
I just use that as a term. I didn't mean that literally.
Okay, where is this closet? I've been asking this question all my life. Where is the closet that I was never in?
I don't know. Some people are still in there trying to find Christmas presents, or some of them have been in there for so long.
There's no real location of this closet.
No.
Okay.
It's just like you're saying, like it's hidden, like you would hide Christmas present in the closet, so it's there, but you won't know it's there unless you know to look there.
I think I only received one Christmas present all my life. Maybe two. I don't
You would see Christmas presents as a child.
Just around me.
And the whole
Yeah,
of the
I
life.
remember too.
No family members ever bought you a truck or stuff?
Yeah, I wanted a dump truck. I wanted a yellow dump truck that they were building, no stuff like they were building the Harlem River Drive, and I wanted one of those trucks that had the dirt up in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I digress. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway,
There's nothing wrong
you
with
mentioned
that.
closet and Christmas, and it came back to me. What is that called? It's not deja vu. It must be some kind of psychological name for that. You mentioned that.
You was getting nostalgic.
Nostalgia? Yeah, okay.
I'm so smart.
Yes, God did. And sexy.
Thank you.
Smart, sexy, and cute. What more can you ask for? Oh, he's married. Sorry.
No, I'm not married.
You gotta watch it when your co-host is saying all those things, and make sure you leave every time after your show. I don't trust this co-host.
Me and Rock is cool today. You know, we can sleep in the same bed. Nothing happens.
Oh Jesus. Be wary of that.
I'm sorry, Rock. Back to you.
What up, Richard? What up, Sean? What up, Anthony? Again, like I said, what do you think about the heteronormatives reaching our same gender lovers? What the hell? This thing keeps telling me something.
Well, I was going to do it today.
All right, I'm going to go back to my definition. All right. Okay, I was talking about the different types of sexualities within our same gender loving community. We got demisexual, which is a person who does not experience sexual attraction unless they form a strong emotional connection with someone. It's more commonly seen but by no means confirmed or confined to romantic relationships. What up, Richard? Then we got sapiosexual, a person who finds intelligence to be a sexually attractive quality in others or turned on by intelligence via mental stimulation. Then we got pansexual, which is their emotional attraction towards people regardless of their sex, sex or gender identity. Pansexual people may refer to themselves as gender blind, asserting that gender and sex are not determining factors in their romantic or sexual attractions towards others. Why does this thing keep stopping? What the fuck? All right, excuse me. This technology just seems to be acting up and doing its own thing. Then we got queer. Queer is it translates as strange or odd, or into the bizarre and not practiced in the mainstream and sometimes considered taboo by societal norms. Then we got transgender, which is an adjective denoting or relating to a person whose sense of personal identity and gender does not correspond with their birth sex. Okay, Rel's saying, I would say we should take some try themes and see how it works, and most importantly, if it works, use what works and is comfortable and discard what doesn't work. I see nothing wrong with benchmarking. It's like trying on many styles of fashion to see what fits our own style. Yeah, it's definitely a sense of style and some kind of aesthetics that needs to be looked into. Most people don't take the time to pay attention to acknowledge some of the more basic dynamics or the rudimentary of certain aspects, not just in life, but of course pertaining to sexuality. Then we got asexual, which is an adjective. Asexual individuals may still experience attraction, but this attraction doesn't need to be realized in any sexual manner. So they don't have to have sex, but they still have the desire of wanting to be sexually attractive and also finding their mate sexually attractive, but they don't engage in any sexual activities. There are very small cases that individuals have gotten in relationships with asexual people, but for the most part, most people aren't accepting those individuals because most people are sexually driven, which is not a bad thing. But it's not a bad thing if you're not sexually driven either. Meaning that nobody should really pressure you to have sex or do something you don't want to do, especially when it comes to sex, because it's your mind, it's your body, it's your energy that you have command over. And one of the reasons why, like I said, I do this segment is because it gets very frustrating, and I want to empower, the next generation and other people who don't feel like they have a mind or their own mind or a say-so in the matter that, hey, you don't have to be subjected or, browbeated into submission to, cater to other people's whims of what they want, especially when it comes to sex.
It doesn't look like a guy like you would have those kind of problems.
Well, yeah, it's true. Like I told you, there's some of these dominant, aggressive, foolish tops. That's who they are. They want to dominate other people because guess what? They're tired of dominating the people who they know they could dominate, who's already naturally submissive. They come showing, hey, look, I know you got this and you can control me and do this. They're not interested. They want to control people like me who are difficult, who are hard-headed, who have their own mind. If they could get you to change your mind, that makes them much more powerful because they got somebody strong to be something they normally wouldn't be.
Would there be a notch on their belt or they like a challenge maybe?
Pretty much. It's a conquest. For them, it's a conquest. For bottoms, it's a trophy. Yeah, even bottoms can be that way too. Yeah, bottoms can be aggressive. They may not do it the same way a top would do because they're not trying to use their dick. They use their demands, their want or their desire to say, hey, look, I got the ass. You should be wanting to please this ass, and you should be willing to do what it takes to get this ass because I got that fire. I got that good.
What do they do? I want to understand what they do. What they do? I want to try to follow.
It's really the mentality and the mindset.
The bottom, not the top, the bottom.
They they basically try to set the narrative as to how it's going to go down, and they're calling the shots. Sometimes they.
Bottom as a top with that.
I'm sure there's many examples, but again,
no, I just want to understand what you're saying. They use their what to dominate the top?
Think about how a woman can use the power of her pussy.
Stick to your top. No women.
No, because bottoms think that they're women. That's the whole thing. They use their wills about how they do things and how they command sex to say as to why they feel you should be putting in or investing into that form of wanting to please them or be that to validate, because most tops want that. Hey, I did what it takes. I made you tap out, and I got what I want you. The bottoms, they play that game, but on a different level, and that level is more. It could be the same, but obviously a bottom can't do what the top is doing if he's using his ass. But
you never been an aggressive top? Sorry, I said wrong.
No, I've had aggressive bottoms. Yes, I did. I had
demanding.
Listen, I had a bottom trying to put a condom and ride my dick while I was asleep.
Wait. Say it.
He was aggressive, meaning that he put the dick on my condom and tried to ride me while I was asleep. I didn't authorize it. I didn't make it official for.
He put the condom on the dick.
But that's really is that aggressive bottom?
Well, he's aggressive, like he wanted the dick, and obviously he couldn't get it when I was awake. He waited till I was asleep.
You get hard when you get asleep. You hard when you're asleep?
Were you hard?
Sometimes, yeah. My dick has a mind of its own sometimes. It does what it's wanting. Yeah.
Is that a nickname?
No, I didn't give it a name.
I'm gonna have to get that name.
So I'm trying to understand this bottom thing.
All right, and I apologize, bro. Yeah, you're right. Not all bottoms think that they're women, and I apologize for that. But shit. I will speak from experience. The bottoms that have approached me so far tend to think that they're women.
So I'm trying to understand. So if you had an affair, a sexual encounter with a dug bottom that was overly aggressive, would that make you happy?
No, it would be a turnoff because nobody should want it more than you should want it.
But why is it a one-way street?
It's not a one-way street.
Two-way street.
How? They coming to me? I didn't come to them like, oh, I want some of this too. Or like, if it was mutual, I could see what you just said. But usually it tends to be.
It was a blind date, so it's like you both met for the first time.
Okay, but I don't fuck on the first date, first and foremost. So
say it again?
I don't fuck on the first date.
Oh, you don't break all the you breaking all the stereotypes.
Because I'm not stereotypical.
This is an educated black.
So you mean to tell me? Wait.
I don't fit in the stereotypical.
You mean to tell me if you were invited to a threesome, you can't indulge?
A threesome to me is like I'm watching a show and I might just get to touch a little bit.
Star attraction.
That's the reason why I don't do threesomes, because it usually falls into that category where I'm being the thing where it's like basically tie me down since I can't do anything.
What?
Because they're having their fulfillment of what they want from me. Right. They don't care about my pleasure. It's about what they want.
Right.
But wait. You're the top with the big dick, and they're the bottom with a nice, beautiful, tight booty.
Listen, I had bottoms fight over the dick before, and it wasn't fun at all. And nothing got done.
No, not two bottoms. Suppose you had.
I'm watching the show because I I'm not really putting on. I'm not.
The man
Again, I
doesn't
told you, a
like
threesome
he
for
told you
me
that earlier.
means somebody's going to be left out. If I'm involved in a threesome, somebody's going to be left out. Not intentionally, it's because my focus could only go for the person who I find the most attractive. So that.
Suppose you found a nice, attractive, down low thug who was curious and he wanted to experience being a fighter.
Well then, yeah, I mean, I'm open field. I said it like, hey, but it can't be no threesome term. It just won't happen. It's just not possible.
And you wouldn't do it on the first day?
No.
Oh, you're so
I want
boring.
to. I'm not boring.
How do I say it? Boring.
How? No, listen. All right, listen. When it comes to the natural, naturally, I'm not driven by that. Naturally, I would have to see something within that person that would spark or give me that drive. Like I said, remember, I'm also.
Now, which rock am I talking? I know there's two different rocks. Which rock am I talking to tonight?
He killed me with that when somebody say what they feel. That's whack.
It's because those type of people. Those type of people tend to want the satisfaction of getting a favorable response where there was no favorable response to be gained. Yeah, I could be that way, but I'm also a demon too. Okay. I told you I'm a different person versus when I'm single and versus when I'm in a relationship.
I'll change.
Which one are you now? Don't want to say.
I mean, for the most part, I'm relationship oriented, but I do have my tendencies of thinking along the lines of singleness, and that's only if I feel like the right connection isn't established. Then I default to, hey, I could just deal with the options until the right choice comes along, where I can eliminate the options and focus on that choice.
So you don't, if it's TMI, let me know. You've never had spontaneous sex.
I did when I was inexperienced and didn't know what I wanted and know who I was. So, but now that I'm established and I'm awoken, I have to function on a level that I feel naturally sustains who I am. So if I do anything less, then I'm digressing back to somebody who is being false.
Yeah.
Well, I have questions for you off air that I don't want to put onto you on air. Anyway, okay, so where are we now?
Rel said, same here. He said, no sex on the first date. First date is for your mind. And I'll tell you this, on the first date, I don't mind doing light sexual things, but if you think you're going to get the dick, and you think you're going to get me to perform and put an effort to, do any kind of fucking or anal sex, then again, on to the next one, please, because you got to miss me with that. I mean, I'm a keeper. I'm not putting the effort. I'm not even driven, and I'm horny every day. I go to sleep horny and I wake up horny. And I think I said too much saying that, but I mean, I'm proud of it. I mean, because I control it. My sex don't control me. As bad as I want to have it, my desire for passion and being romantic tends to outweigh more than how much I want to have sex. Because I can have sex at any given time with anybody at any given. I have so many offers, but the offers that come to me aren't valuable for me. They're not
worth your time.
It's not worth my time. It's not. And then what you just said, boring. Yes, those people bore me because and again, why would I want to bring my A game? And I know my A game is top notch, but why would I bring my A game to somebody who they just want me just for the moment to go to the next hot guy out there that they could get with? And I'm not going to be nobody's conquest or no notch underneath your belt or no trophy. That's just, I mean, I woke up, I see it. I could spot game a mile away. And not many people are going to get the ability to access or utilize me to their, way of what they feel like I said, when it comes to me, you're not gonna limit my use of what you think I could be for you. To think that you can have your cake and eat it too and go elsewhere to fulfill your needs, because I'm not the one. I'm definitely not the one.
So would you say, at your young, tender age, you don't have to say what age that is, are you more sexually driven at today's age or 15 years ago?
I mean, I'm still sexually driven. I'm just smart about how I do it, I mean, like I said, every day is not a single day. I think about wanting to have sex on a day-to-day basis. Trust me, but it's not
fantasy with someone or just sex in general.
Just sex in general. Just anything sexual. There's so many things I want to do. I want to blow people's minds. I want to make people scream. I want to make people feel like, oh my God, what are you doing to me? Or I can't get enough. Or when can we do it again? Like, I want to create so many things, but it's not like, unlike the average stereotypical heterosexual man who just wants to, I think those type of dudes, they tend to, anything with a pair of breasts and two legs is fuckable. So they would go for, there are no standards and no preferences to what they would go for. And to me, that's like it's like being I can't say seasoned, because seasoned means you know what you're doing. But you walk this earth for a while and have nothing to show, no type of experience, no wisdom, no nothing to say that you know what you're doing, and you're just going about it just cause. And I'm like, to me, that's unrefined to not know what you're doing. Like, I wouldn't want you. You're supposed to be a constructor. I don't want you building my house if you don't know what the hell you're doing.
So would you say you have enough experience and knowledge to help teach people how to do sex right?
Well, for me, if you're dealing with me, I could teach you how to deal with me. But in general, you're supposed to learn certain things on your own. Like, I learned some of the basics I was supposed to learn on my own, and I applied it to who I am and what I'm supposed to be and what I would like to be. And it tend to be, let's just say I tend to hit the mark that people tend to like what I bring to the table.
And you don't do first day sex?
Nope.
Even though you're hot and horny.
We can explore, but I'm not going to go that far. We could probably explore chapter 1, 2, and 3, but we're not going past the third chapter. You want chapter 7, 8, and 9, then we got to put some kind of time in. I need the satisfaction of knowing that, hey, again, are you worth more than just this one time? And again, I'm not going to be your conquest or your trophy.
But that's how you're looking at it. Suppose they're not looking at it that way. They're just looking at it that they are hot and horny like you. It's not a conquest.
Find the next nigga.
It is. They know they don't deserve going for that. I mean, I'm not going to knock people and tell them that they can't have what they want. But why do you think you should have what you want through me?
Right.
Because you're special.
If I'm so special, show me I'm special. If I'm special, I'm special enough to wait for it and just to figure out what it is so you can tell me and not just think of whatever you think you could tell me to want to hear. We definitely do. We definitely do. You know what, D? You better stop before you're gonna have me say some stuff.
You're over there passing love notes. What's going on around here?
No, he's saying something that eventually you're gonna be like, ooh, I don't know.
Oh. So are you a flirt, Robert?
Robert.
No.
Kelly is locked into the Robert Kelly.
I mean, rocks.
The environment would have to be there for me to do that. I would say this. I think to some extent I do know how to flirt, but I think at the same time I don't. Only because if I do, I'm doing it because I actually like you and I actually want to get with you, so then I will flirt. But if I don't think there's a possibility to get you, I won't even try to waste my time. Like, there's a time and a place for it.
When I read some of those Facebook comments.
Yes. All right.
On both pages.
Then nobody said it on Andy Lee, but on my page, Rel said he told me that what I said a few minutes ago was well said. He also said that Richard says that should apply in my relationship. I don't know what your relationship is, Richard, but I guess I can agree to that. And he said also, he said love notes is sweet. I guess he likes your little love notes you're doing over there, D.
Love notes.
He making love notes over here.
What up, Terrell Monroe?
Who said that love notes is sweet?
His page.
On my page.
Whoever said that, tell him I said, yeah, he's that.
It was Richard Berry. You could definitely tell him. Tell Richard what you just said.
Oh, what do I say?
Say it in the mic.
Who is it?
Richard Berry.
Hey, Richard, whoever said love notes were really cool, you're my kind of dude. That's so cool. I love love notes.
You hear that? And this
But wasn't that so elementary in third grade? You go, I love Susie.
Hater.
I know. I used to love that box. Do you like me? You could check this box for yes and check this box for no. I used to love. I was one of those. I used to send love letters to girls. I used to put love letters in their lockers and stuff. I used to walk them to class and all that shit. And
Did you carry their books?
no, I didn't do that. I wasn't a sucker. No.
As a sucker?
No. If we went together and we was dating, then maybe.
You didn't tell me all the guys who maybe carry their books. I was being a sucker.
You was on a different agenda to try to get something that wouldn't be favorable because you didn't know how to go about it the correct way. So the other way you know how to do it is like, oh, let me just, whisper sweet nothings in your ears and whoop, and next thing you know, I got your clothes on.
Yes, sir. So I mean, you can go as long as you like on tonight. You call the shot in terms of how when you want to end it. I have no problem going over if you want. So you're doing a little overtime down here on DNAradio.net. This is BU and BU Nation. That's a BU Nation. Oh yeah,
BU Nation. Yeah, somebody said yes. That is this show.
It sounds so nice. BUNation.net. It's like a real community, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're down here live with Rockman, and our guest over here passing the love note, Mr. D.
D is a real sweetheart. I'll tell you that he's definitely a winner that you definitely want on your team. That I can say.
That's so good.
I'm a hater all of a sudden. What did I do?
Oh man, so I'm saying though, besides Richard and Raul, I would like to hear some more feedbacks about what you think about. Did I miss any other sexualities? I'm sure there's more than just the ones I read, but tell me what your feedback is about that. I really want to hear more so about gender role specifics, homonormative, heteronormative, and I really want to hear more so about dominant, submissive versus aggressive and passive. Do y'all think there needs to be an established hierarchy, or you think things are fine the way they are? Do you think things need to change or improve so that we can become, better amongst each other as far as being, homosexual men, bisexual, down low, lesbian, gay, men and women? All right, let me take a short music break. Again, this is DNA Radio, and this is BU Nation with your host, Rock. I'll be right back.
DNAradio.net are here to uplift and inspire our listening audience. One of the ways we do this is by having thought-provoking, meaningful conversation. We understand and appreciate passionate responses. Therefore, we respectfully ask everyone.
Who's playing my Genuine? I'm not Genuine. I'm thinking about the Genuine version of this song, but no.
That's a sample.
But this is a twisted song I like.
The wrong mix. I look at the different mix. The wrong mix.
Hey, yo, D, are you also one of those health nuts that feel like, okay, I'm so healthy, I don't do things like, let me see, what's a good food I can say? Like, you don't eat red meat like steak and all that stuff?
I
Really?
never did. I don't know if you realize even then. I never ate red meat.
I cut down on it, but once in a while,
No pork either.
What?
Burgers, red meat.
If I come over for bacon, you have for breakfast. Bacon. If I come over for breakfast, I don't mind turkey bacon, but you better give me the good turkey bacon.
No,
if
I
you're
have
gonna.
something called Beyond Meat. A lot of stuff you won't know. You gotta let me do it. But I do have turkey bacon.
But I love me some pork bacon. Pork bacon.
God, I don't even fry that in the house right now. You gotta do the baked turkey though. Try the turkey. I get the good turkey. The good turkey.
I mean, I'm down for trying things, but last time I had turkey bacon, it was like fucking cardboard. The only people that made good turkey bacon was my brother from Philly. He knows who he is. He made turkey bacon appealing to me.
Okay.
But also, I was trying to say that are you also one of those people too who's like, oh, like, well, no, you said you have an occasional drink, right? I mean, I'm not an alcoholic, but I do
You
drink.
know that social media is still live.
That's good. You're not saying nothing bad.
And I'm still live on my page too.
Yeah, but we talk about turkey bacon and a drink. I don't drink anything, but on a Christmas or a holiday, maybe somebody's birthday, if I drink a glass of red wine, that would be a lot. But I don't drink. I have it there at the house. I wouldn't have any hard liquor. What do you drink if you drink?
I'll drink anything, brandy, cognac.
Really? Okay.
You know, I prefer mixed drinks or something that tastes real good. Not sweet, but like fruit sweet. You know, like that type of, you know.
And what's your favorite food?
My favorite food, mostly pastas.
Italian.
Huh?
Cheesy stuff. Italian.
I like cheesy stuff, yeah.
Okay.
I like Italian. Seafood, definitely. Seafood, definitely one of my, like I said, potatoes, steak.
Okay. But you could eat.
And then I love stir fry and sauteed vegetables.
I make stir fry all the time, like the best stir fry out.
Listen, I'm coming over for a meal. I'm saying though, please. I mean,
when I come back from DC, I'm gonna go to the film festival. As soon as I come back next week, you're there. All right.
I'm gonna hold you to it.
All right.
DNA, keep back, sexy. Hey, Camille.
Called brainwash.
DNAradio.net presents The BU Show with your host, Rockman.
How's your schedule, bro? Let me know whenever you.
Rockman's fans out there.
I'm starving now. You're gonna have to start getting us food over here at this radio station.
We are DNA.
Talk to your agent.
The
union rep. The union rep.
We need strong union, like a window washer. My father's brother was a window washer. I love that shit.
Therefore, we respectfully ask everyone to be mindful of what you say and how you say it.
Rockman.
All right, we're back. We're back.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, I agree. Depending on who's making the turkey bacon roll, it's
Yeah.
going to determine, you know.
Oh, who's Rel? Somebody saying Rel?
Yeah, on my page.
What did you say about it?
He said turkey bacon is the bomb. And he says also steak is the bomb. And he said no puns since it's all meat.
Ask Rel. Oh, hey Rel, have you ever tasted Beyond Meat? I don't eat pork. I don't eat beef. But have you ever tasted the new Beyond Beef? Beyond Meat is really good it's a meat alternative.
So you're gonna make me say a whole bunch of nasty things when the way you just said it. Beyond Meat, Beyond Beef. Okay.
I wish I knew about this stock before it blew up.
It's amazing.
800%. I could use those extra money in my pocket. Anyway.
You follow that stuff?
Yeah, I didn't buy it. So right now, too high. Anyway, so how you feel, Rob? Are you horny?
Not at the moment.
Doesn't seem that big hard.
You stupid.
Don't show my face. I can't be around this.
Nah, that would have been trouble if that really was the case. That would.
I have some people here who will take care of you.
Oh, shit. He's not like that. He doesn't do things on the first.
Oh, I keep forgetting. No first.
No, see, I said no.
Whatever it's called.
I don't fuck on the first date. That's what I said. I didn't say that I wouldn't do anything else sexually on the first date.
Suppose the bottom want to get their buttons.
Well, first of all, then here's the point. If we're dating, in the minute you tell me you're bottom, the date is over. Because that means you had an agenda and you had a plan that you knew that was going to be the case, and you planned it all along.
But isn't that what happens at these
tenders
and stuff?
No, you go fool somebody else with that agenda. You know, people who are driven by that.
No, somebody on there could be saying, I want somebody to go bowling with. You go for the person.
I thought the apps are for sex only.
No, it's for a thing, for a whole bunch of things, but it mostly cares about sex.
Right, what are these apps? I want to learn. I'm taking notes.
You never heard
notes.
You never heard of Jack, Grindr, or Tinder, or any of the Jack, and apostrophe D. Like instead of saying like this is jacked up, it's just Mr. ED like you normally spell it.
ED?
Yeah, you normally spell with an ED, but they took away that and just put apostrophe D. You get
No
it?
E.
No E, just apostrophe D.
What's the other one?
Grinder, and it's spelled the same way, but you take the E out, and it's grind.
No E.
And grind, and then there's like a R.
Oh.
Yeah.
What's the other one? Tinder, you said?
I don't know.
I think Tinder, yeah.
How you spell Tinder?
Tinder.
We have one of them, but that's not.
What about gay black? Is that black gay chat? That's what
I don't know if it's an app, but I know there was a site online.
A for A?
Yeah, those were the online sites, but the ones we just said were apps that you.
Oh, they're different.
Yeah, because the apps are just quick and it's mobile on your phone, so you could just put things in there, and the apps tell you your location or how close you are to that person. And
I think I seen one of these young men earlier today before the show started. They were looking, walking around in circles, looking at their phone. I guess they're trying to find the location of somebody, tell them how to get there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, who's close? And they use it in the club too. Sometimes you be like, oh, and it says the person is 6 feet in front of you or something like that. I'm like, what? I'm glad I wasn't going to clubs at the time when this shit was going down.
So they can be around here and turn on the app and they'll know that.
Listen, let's just say this. I seen them do it at Jefferson Street. I saw them do it on 38th Street, and I saw them do it.
But they're in that spot. Why do they need the app? They're already in.
Because sometimes the people there is boring, and you want to see something like this. Maybe you was hoping that the person.
The conference zone, as we all can testify, was never boring, was it? 7 days a week,
and then
24 hours a day, 6 days, 6 days.
And then the adult stores in the city, they would do it too. They'd be like, oh, it's there, so let me just pull up this and see who's there.
That's what I'm gonna ask you. I don't want to give out no free commercials. I'm like, well, maybe you can tell me off air where these stores are.
No, bro, I don't think that bottoms lose with me. It's just that unless they have the quality, and there's a possibility we could go the distance. I mean, like I said, I'm open for that, but I don't know. I just find sex boring if I was with a strict top or strict bottom. That's not saying that I want to be versatile. I'm saying that traditionally, I believe when it comes to sex, it's so overrated. Everybody just wants to straight up fuck. They want to fuck or get fucked. And I'm like, again, to me, fucking and fuck energy is something. It's energy, and I don't really want to waste that energy with somebody unless I'm going to build with them.
Everybody you have sex with, you give off that energy.
And if I'm not going to build where it could be consistent, 'cause I like consistent sex. That's kind of the reason why I'm against anal sex, because it's not consistent enough for me. It's not. And if I'm going to do it, it's got to be something. I'm not saying we got to do that act, but that's the person who I got to sexually have sexual, endeavors with. And if it can't be that same person, like, what's the point? It works for everybody. It just doesn't work for me.
So if you were
Go ahead.
might get too personal.
Go ahead. I mean, people.
Your Honor, I withdraw my.
No, because I'm gonna say it like this: bottoms, feminine guys, and the transgenders, they always try to beat me into submission to give them a favorable thing because they had other people who was open to those things. But here's the thing: that was their choice. Those individuals wanted to see, those type of people. And again, it's not saying I have anything against, those type of guys that fall within that, that genre. It's just that I didn't choose this lifestyle, or men didn't become my choice because I wanted to deal with those type of men.
You responding to Mr. D? Nothing? Okay.
And
I
I
like what you like. Nothing you can do about that, right?
Yeah, but you could go about it in such a way. Like I'd rather go for somebody that actually wants to deal with my type. You get what I'm saying? Like I've been around certain type of guys. They don't like masculine guys like me, and they would prefer a feminine guy. And that didn't bother me. And when I was younger, I was a little disappointed that somebody would choose that over me. But then I realized, hey, they're entitled to their taste and their preference. And naturally, who's to say naturally they don't get anything from a masculine guy? And I get it, because that's kind of how I feel when sexually when it comes to dealing with feminine guys or transgenders and stuff. That doesn't appeal to me. Doesn't appeal to me mentally. Doesn't appeal to me sexually, and it doesn't appeal to me physically.
Nice talking. Is this kidney?
Mm-hmm.
You need to change the chairs. There's a certain thing that you put in the chair that you buy.
A certain energy you put into it. No, and the truth is, I just think like we all function on a wavelength or on the spectrum of like what comes naturally. You get what I'm saying? Like naturally, you might like something, and I think there's a better word besides saying preference, but basically naturally, I'm not driven by those types of individuals that come off. And basically, I say like this: whether it comes naturally to them or it's a aesthetic that's a choice, because I believe to some degree it is a choice for them to behave that way, because that's what they see, that's what they want to represent themselves. And you're not wrong for wanting to choose to represent yourself that way. All I'm saying is that choosing to want to represent yourself that way, it would make me lose interest, because again, I didn't set my goals or my standards or my hopes, my dreams to settle for those particular individuals. And again, there's nothing personal about them. Like, I don't even know them. I didn't spend enough time to know personally what are they outside of those aesthetics. And again, outside of those aesthetics is the only thing that actually separates those things. And again, like I said, I'm a bisexual who's also demisexual and sapiosexual. And I was talking about different sexualities. And again, a demisexual is a person who does not experience sexual attraction unless they form a strong emotional connection with someone. It's more commonly seen in, but by no means confined to, romantic relationships. A sapiosexual is a person who finds intelligence to be a sexually attractive quality in others, or turned on by intelligence via mental stimulation. So if any person, especially a bottom, would want to have their way with me, they would definitely have to appeal to me on something that would be in where a demisexual or sapiosexual person like me would want.
I think I said this a million times to you. I've never met someone who breaks down sex the way you do. I just thought sex was sex. It's amazing how you just break things down.
Sex is energy, is an exchange, and of course, it's a privilege. It's not a demand. Most people try to demand that. I mean, we all want sex. We all could be driven by certain things sexually, but that doesn't mean we qualify or that we can actually have what we set our eyes on.
Would you be so kind to read that asexual? Let's see if I qualify that.
All right, asexual is sexual individuals. The asexual are individuals that may still experience sexual attraction, but this attraction does not need to be realized in any sexual manner. You could fall in that, but at the same time you couldn't, because I'm sure that there would be an opportunity that if you were given an opportunity and somebody allowed you to, you would definitely fly. You would run with it. I could see you running with it. But
nice gift was.
and you won't. I guess what? You won't even get off of that ride. I can see you being a fiend right now.
I said a microphone fiend.
But yeah, and we all know, like I said, we all know what a lesbian is. A lesbian is basically another term for saying gay women or a woman who finds other women physically and sexually attractive, or spiritually and emotionally, because we forget about those aspects as well. Then we got the transgenders. I think I said it. It's an adjective. It means denoting or relating to a person whose sense of personal identity and gender does not correspond with their birth sex. It goes whether you're male and you know you're a male, you got a dick between your legs, biology, testosterone, the whole thing, the hormones that make you a male, but yet you don't feel male. You still feel, you feel like you want to be a girl or a woman, and that's what you identify as. And therefore, sometimes some of those individuals may take the next step and maybe get the operation to, transition to be, transgender. I could have, said more. I could have added like, cisgender and stuff like that, but that's to me, that's on a whole different level. I just wanted to express the different sexualities as to what kind of, and also the some of the acronyms or the letters that's within our LGBTQ, what those letters meant.
So what inspired you to pick tonight's topic?
Well, from one of the last topics that we was talking about, and I was like, that's something that's at least talked about. And again, sex. People think when they talk about sex, they only talked about just the physical and the actual, the actual energy to get with sex. But what makes sex? There's sexualities. Like I said, you can start off with saying heterosexual and homosexual, and then you have different categories as to sexualize, what drives people to want to say they're into something sexually or not. But it's still a type of sex and energy. Ralph says, your attraction is organic and not manufactured. Again, those are pretty good words, Well.
What do you mean by manufactured?
Manufactured, like, like a manufacturing plant, like where it's
It's okay.
like built or something, like.
Literally mean manufactured is using it as.
Yeah, I think what he means is organic seems to be more natural, and manufactured means just kind of learned. Like everybody else is doing it, so you kind of follow the trend of what everybody else seems to be doing. Did I get that right, Rob? Well, I'm gonna wait for your response, but yeah, like I said, we're all driven by different forms of sexualities that would make us feel complete as a human being. Again, I believe that when it comes to sexuality, period. It's not, thank you, Rel. Yeah, I said it right. Organic, what basically means it's what's natural, what exists within, and it wasn't like learned or, it was something you came up with by yourself based on your own experience, and versus manufactured, where you see other people do it or 9 other people follow this trend. So you figured, hey, let me follow them because everybody else is doing it. I don't want to be the odd man,
So were you taught how to have sex, or you learned it on your own from the street, from videos?
I learned it on my own from the street and videos.
So is that manufactured, is that organic?
On my own is something within.
We've been taught that.
I would say most of it was organic, and some of it was manufactured as far as what I've seen and what I visualized other people see. But then I might have taken what I see, and then let's just say somebody went 100 with it, I might go 47 with it instead. You know, I basically catered and geared and adjusted it to my scale of what makes it work for me. You know, but you could borrow from something like a template or something like that, and turn it to whatever you want. So
or a piece from here, there, and make your own. And
yeah,
boom, boom. You become the master of sex that you are.
yes. Thank you. You recognize greatness, man. Yes.
Exactly. If I was 20 years younger.
Listen, you be in trouble. Listen, the doors will be locked. I'll make a nice little place. I'll give you a safe word, and I'll be like, okay, we in the open field now. Now run. But I think one of my cousins, she said something about pansexual, and she said she thinks her sister is pansexual. She said she felt a little kind of way about it because she said pansexual people, they have such an open display of what they can go for at any given time that they're more likely to find the person that they can match with because they open to different things. And because and this is what it is about pansexual. It said that it's a sexual, romantic, or emotional attraction towards people regardless of their sex or gender identity. Pansexual people may refer to themselves as gender blind, asserting that gender and sex are not determining factors in their romantic or sexual attractions towards others. So they like anybody regardless. So that means they can be a demisexual. If they happen to like that individual, they'll like them. If they happen to be a transgender and they happen to like that individual, and they feel that individual like that, that person is a choice for them.
But they still have their own particular criteria, I'm sure.
Not really. It's basically what they find within that individual. That's
you know how much money we can make having a, pronounce that word again, pan what?
Pansexual.
You know how much money we can make having just pansexual parties? Nobody's going to be judging nobody. You know, that's a whole new business. We should go into that business. We're in the wrong business.
But you'd be surprised. There might be some pansexual people. Like the way I described it, when I described before I knew what sapiosexual was, because I only knew demisexual at that point. I didn't know about sapiosexual or any other sexuals, that is listed today. And once I got into it, I realized that a lot of these things actually made sense when I said it. But then when I described what I'm into, most people thought I was pansexual. I was like, no, because I don't find transgenders attractive. Like me knowing that they are and that's what they chose, to me, I respect the fact that they want to be called woman or girl, or they identify as a female. I can respect that, but they won't get the satisfaction of me treating them like they are a girl or a woman, because naturally they're not. Naturally, whether you got it's not about judge, it's about what I feel. See, there's a difference between judging and feeling. See,
if they want to be treated as a woman, I would treat
I'm not saying I wouldn't. It's just that my mind is saying to me that no different than how I would look at a woman, like we'll use charms.
I'm saying in terms of not having them sexually, but if they want to be treated as a woman, I'll go right on this. Miss Gucci.
No, I could do that, and I could call them the name that they want me to call them. But as far as me accepting them being a woman, I can't accept them being a woman.
Well, you're bisexual, so
that's the point I was trying to make.
Whereas I wouldn't even look at them sexually. Just be like, you want to be called a woman, then I respect you as a woman.
Yeah, but I'm not going to treat you as a woman. I will call you if you want to be called Tyasia or something like that. I'll call you that. But you can't
treat them like he would treat a woman. Just live with it. Let him have that.
Like for instance, I'm a ladies man.
I'm not gonna treat them like I would treat the respectful woman. He's trying to say I respect everybody, but similar to what he said. I try to avoid. For me, all along, it just doesn't work for me. I don't.
No, we're not talking about having sexual. It's just they want to be treated. However that is. I mean, how do you treat a woman anyway? You just treat her. To me, I believe in even Stevens.
No, it's not.
No, but here's the thing. Like for instance, like I said, I'm a ladies man and I'm a man's man.
Yeah, I have nothing against male, female, black, white.
I'm not holding it. I'm not doing certain things for a man. I'm not helping a man across the street. An older man will give me no. So let me see out because you're gonna make it too broad. If they're my age, so forget the if they needed help. Not ill, not handicapped. I'm going to put that all out. I'm not going to do the same. No, I'm just saying if they're not handicapped, they're not. I'm not going to do the same that you do for a woman.
Okay, somebody's coming in the door. You would hold the door for a guy young like you?
I normally don't.
I do. I hold it for any age.
I may have to feel that way.
Male, female, tranny, white, black.
I wouldn't go out my way to do it like I would for the lady. Is all I'm trying
I
to
do
say.
it
You don't get
even Stevens. I said I do it across the board. I see everybody as equal.
You can't be.
No, I see it as
A
equal. I have
woman
no
is
problem.
not. You can't. It's no way a man is equal to a woman. A woman could. It's just gonna. Y'all not gonna have me into.
I was trying to find a thing
minutes.
to help back you up.
What is that, Julian what?
No, but are you agreeing to what he's saying?
I
That
agree with you.
No, but equal. It's no way a woman. You don't treat your sisters and your mother the same way you treat the dude or homeboy. It can't be even, Steven.
Even Steven.
Well, I'm glad that you're not in our family because you're not going to treat the elders, women in our family the way you treat the men.
I treat everybody the way I want to be treated.
No, but it's not even,
The way I want to be treated.
You don't treat your female daughter. You don't have children. You don't treat your female daughter the way you treat your female son.
I think I understand what you're saying.
Stevens. Your boy child is different.
That's what I'm saying. I said it's even Stevens. That's what it is.
Well, thank God you're not raising no kids because you don't treat your female, you don't treat your girl child the way you treat your male child. You treat her differently. She has a different level of respect. There's certain things that you don't do with her that you can do to your son. There's certain things that you don't say to her or around her for respect as a young lady growing up.
Well, I don't know what you're turning this into. I'm talking about just regular treating, not nothing.
You can't treat again. I'm not saying. Well, we definitely not saying sexual when we're talking about children.
You said treating.
You're saying it. Even Steve, you cannot treat it's not equal across the board. Your female child can't take certain tones that you may talk to your son.
Oh, I got a perfect example.
My God.
Let's say you got a 15-year-old boy and a 15-year-old girl.
Okay.
Now, a 15-year-old boy, they would more or less not look at it as a bad thing that he's chilling, he has a girl in this room. Versus if the 15-year-old girl had a boy in her room.
A parent wouldn't want their 15-year-old daughter in the room with a guy. Sometimes it's just a difference. It's just a difference when you say and treat you brought this up. You put this monkey out the back. The even Stevens across the board. If you had the kid, I had to bring that in there because even the elders in the family, sometimes you don't pull the chair back for the men to sit down, but you pull the chair back for the woman to have a seat.
But who wrote these rules? I'm all about breaking rules. All this BS tradition, I would do the same.
We're not even talking about. Well, we're not even talking about breaking rules. We're talking about the matriarch of your family. It may be the older end. She's not. I'm not going to run over to the dude over there. I'm going to make sure Auntie gets the seat over the guy. But even if it's one more seat, because you put it there.
Treating everybody equal.
Absolutely not. If there's only a seat left and it's a seat left, and I'm gonna.
We're not saying it's only one seat. We're not saying.
But I have to say this to you.
No, you're bringing up
because you please no, but not if it's even Steven, because when you even Steven would mean that you're the guy.
Took over Rock show. Sorry, Rockman.
No, but back to the subject. Like, think about it. Like, considering the fact that you're not, bisexual, you're not interested in women. Like, for instance, I can't treat a guy the same way I would treat a woman, especially when it comes to romance. And we're not even talking about sex. I'm talking about, like, let's just say if I'm interested in talking to you, I would have a different approach versus if I'm talking to a dude or if I'm talking to a girl. I'm not going to approach a girl the same way I would approach a dude. The only thing they would both have in common is I'm going to approach them with the same level of respect. But I'm going to talk to the dude like he's a dude, and I'm going to talk to the female like she's a female.
I'm not that way. Everybody get treated the same way.
Well, then that's probably why you're not there.
Everybody the same way.
No, you can't treat everybody the same way and everything. Now we're not just talking about sex.
Yes, and Raul made a good point. He said there is a difference in respect versus treatment. Yes, I respect the fact that you want to be quiet.
You made the baby. You made the closing remark. I'm afraid.
Is your YouTube still working over there?
It's like, yeah, it's still on. Yes, Facebook froze a little bit, but then it got back on track.
I'm hungry. I gotta go after this show turned into finding
Anyone else closing remarks? Did we read that last, our opening statement again? Do you have any closing remarks before that?
No, not really. I just want to say I definitely enjoyed it. I'm hoping that next time I talk about something, as intricate, I get a little bit more feedback. But again, I want to say thank you, Rel, and who else was it? and Richard. You know, you guys definitely gave me a nice little feedback, and I definitely want to hear more intelligent, and I definitely hear more from Rel, because Rel seemed like he has a lot of very interesting things on his mind. So hopefully I could come up with something.
Rel, send me rock all your pictures.
And hopefully I won't make it too hard for the bottoms to try to, you know, have their way with me and stuff like that. But, you know, I might, who knows, in the future I'm going to come up with something good and creative. But see you guys again next week. Thank you guys for tuning in. Terrellyn, Joshua, Randy, Warbucks, Paula, Rod, Mike, Carol, Clinton, Jay, Vincere, Destiny. And of course, all my Facebook friends and family that, you know, tune in on my page. Definitely want to say thank you guys again. And definitely tune in next week. And
can we hear that closing remarks?
Yes, we can. The beautiful closing remarks.
Yes, your nice baritone.
Again, in closing, DNAradio.net presents BU and BU Nation with your host, Rockman, aka The Rock, every Saturday from 6:30 p.m. Eastern. We just started a little late today. But BU is a live interactive radio program for our brothers and sisters within the same gender loving community and the gay LGBTQ community. Be you and always be true to thyself. To be true to yourself takes courage. It requires you to be introspective, sincere, open-minded, and fair. It does not mean that you are disrespectful, inconsiderate of others. It does mean that it means that you will not let others define you or make decisions for yourself that you should make for yourself. BU on DNAradio.net is a radio program to help support and uplift our brothers and sisters within our same gender loving and our download communities. We are human beings who have a life, not a so-called lifestyle. BU is not a radio program that gives away any of our same gender loving or download intimate secrets within our community or anything of that nature. So please understand that we at BU are not trying to be a so-called superhead tell-all program. Furthermore, BU is not a gossip type of program such as TMZ, PageSix, or Wendy Williams, etc. We, the BU and BUNation.net staff, team, family, we come in love, peace, and support. Again, I'm your host, Rockman.
Thank you, Mr. Rook. My mic is down. My mic is off. Okay, my mic is back up. Thank you, Mr. Rockman. Okay, today was Housing Day at all the NYCHA housing developments. So what's up to all the NYCHA housing residents celebrating Housing Day in New York City? So what's up to all of our great listeners and supporters in New York City housing, NYCHA, and hope you enjoyed your day. Any closing remarks, anyone? Any last shout out? Okay. Anything else, Mark?
No, that'll be all.
We at DNAradio.net are here to uplift and inspire our listening audience. One of the ways we do this is by having thought-provoking, meaningful conversation. We understand and appreciate passionate responses. Therefore, we respectfully ask everyone to be mindful of what you say and how you say it.
DNAradio.net presents The BU Show with your host, Rockman, for the millions and millions of Rockman fans out there.